You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a gorgeous day here in Boston, and it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball tonight. It's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the first of three from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn and John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Quite a weekend for the Yankees in Atlanta. They did what they had to do. They beat up on a team that's not as good as them, and they did it with the power ball yesterday.
Yeah, they did it with the long ball yesterday. Jacoby Ellsbury starts the damage in the top of the second inning. A 3-run blast. That was on a 3-2 count and with 2 outs. The Yankees did a great job yesterday hitting with 2 outs. Chase Headley comes back in the top of the third. That's going to be a 2-run bomb to dead central. And then Stephen Drew, who had a very nice afternoon yesterday, he's going to hit another 2-run home run with 2 outs. The Yankees jump out to a 7-0 lead, and they never look back.
How good was the weekend in Atlanta? Well, the offense was clicking. They scored 38 runs in the 3 games. As a team, they hit 364, pounded 6 home runs, 13 doubles, and they hit a robust 442 with runners in scoring position. Well, that's in the rearview mirror. Now let's take a look at tonight. Tonight's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. See what know-how can do for you. The rookie left-hander, Eduardo Rodriguez, will go for the Red Sox, and for the Yankees, it's Ivan Nova. David, he's trying to bounce back from a subpar outing.
Yes, he is, and in fact, a couple of subpar outings. And Ivan Nova is a pretty quick read early in the ball game. As you see, if he can't get his fastball into lefties, then left-handed batters just sort of sit on that curveball and sit on that fastball. And when you're getting a lot of the plate with that two-seam fastball, they get hammered. And that's what happened to Nova early in that game. He threw 40 pitches in the first inning, gave up 5 runs, and the ball had a hard time staying in the ballpark. And that's usually Nova's strength. So when the balls are flying high, Nova's sinker's staying up. So that's the key to look for early in the game with Ivan Nova.
He's going to go up against the last-place Red Sox team, and things are in turmoil here in Boston. They have a new man in charge. The GM was fired. Meredith Morakovitz will detail some of that when we get back on Yes.
Morakovitz. It's time for news and notes brought to you by Mohegan Sun, full of action, full of possibilities, full of life. Torey Lovullo is the interim manager for the Red Sox. John Farrell was diagnosed with stage 1 lymphoma. He's currently undergoing treatment. Meanwhile, Dave Dombrowski has been hired as president of baseball operations for the team. Expect some changes coming in the future for the Red Sox with Dombrowski at the helm. And Dustin Pedroia will not be in the lineup. He's been sidelined with a strained hamstring since the end of July. Speaking of guys who you will not see in the lineup, Mark Teixeira out once again. Joe Girardi said he has been sent back to New York City for some more tests on that leg. They're hoping that it's nothing major, but he did wake up today and reported no signs of progress as far as pain in that leg, so they just want to send him back to New York to be safe that they didn't miss anything with the MRI and the CT scan the first time around. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. Michael Kay, David Cohn, and John Flaherty coming your way next with lineups. First pitch, baseball, right here on Yes.
On Yes is brought to you in part by Domino's. Order online and track your order. By Honda. Great deals are on at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. And by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Statue right outside Fenway called the Teammates. Many people stop by, take pictures near that statue. It's a beautiful statue as part of the Fenway experience. The Red Sox have taken the field here at Fenway Park to begin this three-game set against the Yankees. So why don't we take a look at the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. Yankees coming off a three-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. They'll lead off their red-hot center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury. Batting second and playing left, Chris Young. The number 3 hitter is the DH Alex Rodriguez. Carlos Beltran's in right field. He'll clean up. Batting fifth and catching, Brian McCann. Chase Headley at third base. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing first base is Greg Bird. D.D. Gregorius, as shortstop, will take the number 8 spot. And batting ninth and playing second base, it's Brendan Ryan.
Get a look at the youngster, Eduardo Rodriguez, on the year. This will be his 17th start. Pretty decent numbers. 87 hits against 92 in the third innings, only 27 walks. Let's go ahead and give you the pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And the Red Sox really view him as a key piece of the future in their rotation. And you look at his numbers, Flash, really he's had 4 blowouts that have skewed the numbers. In 4 starts this year, he's given up 6 or more earned runs. In 8 starts, he's given up 1 earned run or less. So 30 of his 45 earned runs given up this year have come in just 4 starts. And basic 3 pitches, when you look at his style, good control, fastball up to 94, slider about 87, and a changeup, which is probably his best pitch, at about 88 miles an hour. So basic 3 pitches.
Now let's take a look at the Red Sox defense, which is presented by Geico. You've got Bradley in left, Betts in center, and Castillo over right. That could be the outfield of the future for the Red Sox. They're calling it the BBC outfield. In the infield, Sandoval, Bogarts, Holt, and Shaw, third to first. Hannigan's behind the plate. And David told you all about Eduardo Rodriguez. Pitcher scouting report, which was brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
The Yankees saw Rodriguez a few starts ago at the beginning of August. I was talking then, he loved his fastball throw to about 70%, over 70% of the time. In that outing, he actually went off speed a little bit more, but still very proud of his fastball. He attacks hitters. As David said, an outstanding changeup and a good slider.
Here's Ellsbury, 11 for his last 33, has the average up to 278. So the young left-hander peers in for the sign. Ellsbury's ready. Rodriguez is ready. And let's do it here in Boston. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. Vic Carapazza is the home plate ump. Ron Culpa at first. Larry Vanover at second. And Brian Knight is over third. Since August 13th, you see what Ellsbury has done. Fouled away. And quickly 0-2.
Catcher's interference, it looked like.
And that's exactly what it was, as Ellsbury will take first. He's not charged with an at-bat. And here's how it happened.
Well, you get a great look from the side. You see Hannigan reaches out to get that fastball. And Ellsbury has that kind of swing, David, where he really chops down. And the catcher can get caught with this catcher's interference.
A kind of a sit and spin style of hitting. Not a big stride, not a lot of lateral movement.
Here's Chris Young getting a start against the left-hander. Brett Gardner, nothing wrong with him. Just a day off against the lefty.
I like that too, Michael. We saw yesterday Brett Gardner at the beginning of the game working underneath some fastballs, picked up a couple of hits late, but the bat may be dragging a little bit. You give him a day against a tough lefty and look forward to tomorrow.
Strike to Young.
It's got to be a concern for all major league teams when you think about it, because you're so short on the bench now. You got to have an extra guy in the bullpen, and you're really limited to your options on the bench. So to give these guys an off day is really hard to do.
See the splits, lefty righty for Young. Completely different player against a left-handed pitcher. Now depth will not be a problem. As of tomorrow, they can expand the rosters up to 40 if they'd like. So you'll have more pitchers in the bullpen, longer bench. And if you could think of all the 30 ballparks, what would be the worst ballpark to expand the roster? It would be this one. They're climbing on top of each other in these dugouts anyway. Imagine if the Yankees call up 10 extra guys.
There was times in September back in the 90s where we made the rookies sit up in the clubhouse, watch the game on TV, because there's not enough room down there in the dugout.
Well, and you also throw the clubhouse on top of it. It's not exactly the most spacious place.
The 0-2. Grounded to Sandoval. He boots it. Everybody safe. So an E5 on the Panda. So Yankees have runners on first and second. Nobody out, bringing up A-Rod. And let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 86 degrees, wind 15 miles per hour, humidity 41%. It's partly cloudy. Feels like midsummer here in New England. Not cool at all. But you know you're in baseball season when you hear that reception for A-Rod.
Be an interesting couple of days for Alex Rodriguez. He got a rest in Atlanta, a National League city, a couple of pinch hit appearances. He has mentioned he feels like he's going to be refreshed and look forward to the stretch drive coming down here in September.
Strike. Well, month of July was a good one for Alex. 286. He can't wait for August to end. Today is August 31st, the last day of August. 148 and 2 home runs. One of the home runs was very big. That grand slam against the Twins gave the Yankees a big win. Every game is big right now as the Yankees chase the Toronto Blue Jays in the AL East and hold on to a wild card.
I think the thing to take note of with Alex and watching him in August was really his approach at the plate, and a lot of first pitch swings, very aggressive early in the count. And earlier in the year, he wasn't afraid to go deeper in the count, hit with 2 strikes or take a pitch. Or it's sort of that balance, Flash. It's hard to find that right balance of being aggressive but selective at the same time and not swinging at bad pitches early in the count.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're fatigued, you guess a little bit more and you hope you get it right. When you don't, it doesn't look great.
Just missed outside with that fastball.
This is what the Red Sox love about Rodriguez. 95 miles an hour. He's not afraid to attack. I think probably the one thing, David, is breaking ball not the best pitch. Maybe get a little bit better with that as he progresses during his career.
Clearly, I think his slider's his 3rd best pitch. His changeup is his go-to secondary offering.
Foul back. Well, the Red Sox made good by having a desirable player. There's Torey Lovullo, the Red Sox interim manager. He took over for John Farrell, who announced on Friday, August 14th, that he was battling stage 1 lymphoma and presently undergoing treatment. But he is meeting with Lovullo and the coaching staff every single day here at Fenway Park. So still very much involved.
Can't help but think back to Sparky Anderson talking about Lovullo when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
He's such a great young rookie, potential Hall of Famer. Sparky had a tendency to really build him up. His rookie year with the Tigers and Sparky, and then here's the pitch.
Pitcher's pitch. You can argue either way. Alex Rodriguez gets a call. It looked like it was a pretty good pitch.
You really have to pay attention to Hannigan behind the plate, moving late. Looked like a little late movement with the glove. Took that pitch out of the strike zone.
2-2. Missed outside. 3-2. So Rodriguez missing to Rodriguez, but not by much.
It's one of the most important parts. You know, we talk a lot about catcher framing, Flash. I was going to get into that with you tonight at some point. But really, it's not about stealing strikes. It's about the balls in the strike zone that you don't take out with your glove. That, to me, is more important than actually framing a pitch off the plate.
Yeah, your catcher with strong hands keeps it in the strike zone instead of letting it move out of it.
3-2. Line drive, a base hit for A-Rod. And it gets out to Bradley in a hurry as Ellsbury has to hold at third. So a stinging single by A-Rod. And the Yankees have the bases loaded. Nobody out.
See Rodriguez kind of shaking his head. He had a borderline pitch, wasn't called a strike, and then Alex Rodriguez works the count full. Fastball down the middle, and it's a rocket to left field. And the Red Sox have been playing really good baseball. I know they're a last place team. They've been playing well lately. A little sloppy here in the first with the catcher's interference. Error by Sandoval and a base hit to Alex Rodriguez. A hot hitter for the Yankees coming to the plate.
Nearly impossible to score from second on a base hit to left field here at Fenway.
Here's Beltran, who loves hitting at Fenway, a .353 lifetime average in Boston. And since joining the Yankees, 15 for 35. That's .429 here at Fenway. Red Sox looking for the double play. Have the infield back, of course, here in the top of the first, just underway at Fenway Park. Popped up, left field, tagging is Ellsbury. Bradley makes the catch. Here comes Ellsbury. Here's the throw, and it's up the third base line. Ellsbury scores. It's a sac fly for Beltran, and the Yankees have a run. So they appeal at third, and they say that Beltran left on time.
I'll tell you what, Jacoby Ellsbury played here so long at Fenway Park. He knows better than anybody when he can try to take it on a sac fly. You see clearly there he left on time. Bradley to throw up the line, but I found it interesting. Ellsbury looked at Joe Espada, the third base coach, looking for a little bit of help. And usually a good base runner like Ellsbury, you're on your own there. The third base coach can't really tell you whether to be aggressive or not, and it worked out.
So it was Ellsbury that left on time. Quite a rally for the Yankees. Catcher's interference, E5, a hard single, and a sac fly, and they have a run. Here's Brian McCann.
One of the things the Yankees love to see is Brian McCann batting in the first inning. Just incredible numbers. I think he leads the league. Last I checked, it was in the mid 400s, around 450 his batting average, with a lot of damage batting in the first inning.
Count 1-1, 3:24 with runners in scoring position. He enjoyed his trip back to Atlanta, got to sleep in his own bed. Family and friends were at the game. Left about 25 tickets each game.
Well, Brian McCann enjoyed his weekend at home, and the Yankees enjoyed their time in Atlanta. Did exactly what they needed to do against a bad ball club. But I wonder, when Brian McCann comes here to Boston with all his family and friends in Atlanta, now you're able to exhale a little bit and just get back to work. Great going home, great seeing family and friends, leaving all the tickets. You get 3 wins, but when you get on the road, now you get a little sleep and look forward to a good series here at Fenway.
Fly ball right field. Castillo makes the catch. Young tags, but just draws the throw. You mentioned the weekend in Atlanta, John. The Yankees outscored the Braves 38-11. And the 27-run difference is the largest for any series in the major leagues this season. And, you know, not to pile on, but the Braves just look like a club that didn't belong.
Well, everything. I mean, offensively, then you talk about the pitching staff, and David, they'd come out of the bullpen walking people, and you see the Indians already up on the Blue Jays 1-0. The Yankees took advantage of a bad team in Atlanta, got you 3 wins, exactly what you're supposed to do. Look forward to these 3 games.
Here's Chase Headley. Headley had 3 hits and 2 walks in yesterday's game, 6 for his last 11. Yankees have a run in, top of the first and second, 2 outs. Line foul. Right around the trade deadline, a lot of teams traded their future because they thought they had a chance to win now. And that's what the Orioles did last year when they traded Eduardo Rodriguez to the Red Sox. Red Sox had a pitcher that the Orioles thought could put them over the top, and that was Andrew Miller, who is now with the Yankees. And he pitched great for them, but they got swept in the American League Championship Series and gave up a pitcher that could have been in their rotation for the next 6 years. So that's the gamble you take when you make trades and you trade young players. Is the trade good enough to win you a World Series?
It's a great point, Michael, and it seems like the price tag for a lot of these rentals last year and this year is very high. A lot of top prospects changing teams for 3-month rentals.
The Blue Jays traded a truckload of high prospects, and you know what? It's paid off to this point. But when you sit back in 2 years, if they don't win the World Series this year, would you say that was worth it or not? So you can't really evaluate these deals for many, many years. How those players turned out, how you did that season, maybe just making the playoffs will be enough for the Blue Jays this year.
The different dynamic in Toronto going on up there with a tremendous bump in attendance, television ratings.
2-2 to Headley. Fouled it back.
Kind of a perfect storm in Toronto. Comes around very rarely.
Well, Michael and I talked about it, though. How long can they keep this going? I mean, they have been so good that, you know, the odds eventually even out, that they got to slow down just a little bit. We'll see if it happens here in the month of September when we get there.
First and second, 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yankees have a run in, just underway here at Fenway, and Headley steps out. Take a look at the Lowe's standings. Never stop improving. Blue Jays a game and a half ahead of the Yankees, 1 in the loss column. The Rays and the Orioles dropping back. And the Red Sox have hopes of getting out of last place. Strike three. Headley down looking. So the Yankees get a run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left as Headley looks at strike 3. The Yankees won, and the Boston Red Sox come in the bat. Sox starting lineup presented by your local Acura dealer. Mookie Betts in center field will lead off, batting second and playing third base, the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. Xander Bogaerts having a very good year. He's the shortstop. He'll bat third. Cleaning up DH, David Ortiz. He has 494 career home runs. Travis Shaw at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Rusney Castillo. Brock Holt, the second baseman, bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Brian Hannigan. And Jackie Bradley Jr. in left field will bat ninth.
See, Ivan Nova is done with his warm-ups. He's ready to go. He got out there quickly. Flash, we noticed he ended his warm-ups pretty quickly tonight, too. So he's been sitting about a half hour, and you see on the year, this will be his 12th start. 23 walks and 39 strikeouts. That needs to be better. Go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. It really comes down to the curveball formula, and that means getting it over for strikes and then expanding with it down. He's kind of lost that formula. An inside edge on lefties. Get that four-seamer to stay inside on lefties to set everything up, and obviously needs a good one. He comes in struggling his last couple of starts. A lot of questions about fatigue, post-Tommy John surgery. You know, all eyes are on Nova tonight, and the Yankees need him with Sabathia on the DL.
Yankee GM Brian Cashman surprised many people. CC Sabathia threw a bullpen today, and Brian said if or when Sabathia comes off the DL, he will be put right back in the rotation. So you would think that Nova has to turn things around if Sabathia is definitely getting that spot in the rotation back, because they're not taking out the kid by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I think if the playoffs started today, Luis Severino might get game 2 or 3.
Or 1?
Yes, depending.
He's got to get one of them.
Now Meredith has more on the details of that bullpen session by CeCe. What's up, Meredith?
Well, Michael, CeCe told me it was pretty much his regular bullpen. The only difference, he threw it with the brace on his knee. He said it is a little bulky, but it's something that needs to be done if he's going to be able to go out there this season. He hasn't reported any pain after that bullpen. He said since he's had the injection a couple days ago, his knee has felt great. So the plan for him moving forward is to throw another bullpen on Wednesday and then face some hitters come Friday, as long as he doesn't suffer any setbacks.
So when he went on the DL, I think everybody assumed that that was it, but he has every intention of trying to come back.
Well, what about a 6-man rotation in the month of September, right? So not necessarily, somebody doesn't have to leave.
True. But there's some off days which would almost give you 2 days of rest.
Too much.
Now, let me put you both on the spot early. Let's say the Yankees get the wild card. And they had that wild card sewn up 5 days before. And they could start anybody in that one-game set. Everybody's rested. Who you start?
Tanaka.
Really?
Yes. He's your guy.
Ground ball is short. Gregorius. Ball away. John, you?
Evaldi came to mind first, and Severino was second. So I'm thinking Tanaka, in my mind, the way he's been throwing lately. Now, September changes that. He comes in hot.
Right.
But right now, in my mind, I say he would be third.
I don't know if you'd want to put that much pressure on a 21-year-old rookie. So I put Severino out of that game just to protect him, even though you think he might be throwing the ball as good as anyone right now. So that brings you down to Evaldi and Tanaka. Tanaka has the big contract. He's got the big reputation. In a big game, all marbles are on the line. That's the guy I would trust. That's what you got him for. That's what you pay him for. Evaldi's still a work in progress a little bit, even though he's made tremendous strides. And I think he's looking like a real bargain for the Yankees and making that trade in the offseason. Evaldi's got tremendous upside.
0-2 on Sandoval. Well, not Evaldi's best start yesterday. They gave him a lot of runs, and he didn't have much working, he said, but battled through into the 6th inning, got the win. Swing and a miss. Sandoval down on strikes. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind Nova, and it's presented as always by our good friends at Geico. In the outfield, Chris Young, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Carlos Beltran. Left to right, we'll keep an eye on Beltran in a very big right field here. Headley, Gregorius, Ryan, and Burr third to first. McCann behind the plate. Nova on the mound. Had many disappointments this year for the Red Sox. This guy at the plate, not one of them. He has progressed to be the star that they thought he was going to be, hitting .315 as the Red Sox shortstop. Pitch outside.
You know what? He came on the scene 2 years ago and he made it look easy, and a lot of young players are going to realize it's not that easy, and I think he found that out last year. Went through a little sophomore slump, and to his credit, he has returned, hitting third in the lineup and batting .315 coming in.
Now, speaking of batting average, we'll take a look at the Honda League leaders in the American League. Miguel Cabrera now has enough at-bats to qualify, so he's got a huge lead. Michael Brantley at .325, Jason Kipnis .319, Fielder .316, and fifth in the race is Xander Bogaerts with that .315. Over the head of Nova. Charging, Ryan fires. Not in time. Base hit for Bogaerts. Slow developing play, and Bogaerts has speed.
Yeah, they might want to take a look at this one. Brendan Ryan, just an outstanding play, coming up with a bare hand. Gets a good grip and the strong throw. I love the way Greg Bird moves towards the play.
Out. He's out. Let's see if the Yankees challenge.
The way Greg Bird was moving towards the baseball instead of laying back might have been the difference with that play.
Yes, that's a great point. Makes a big difference by a half a step, not even a quarter step. First baseman play is so important.
Guys, while they're looking at this replay, I'm looking forward to these 3 games. And you look at the standings, and the Red Sox, not a very good team, but they're playing some younger players. Michael mentioned the outfielders that they have now who are playing well. And under Torey Lovullo, this team's playing some good baseball. So Yankees are going to have to earn it here. And another look at the play at first.
I wonder, are the umpires going to say his heel touched that bag? Has the ball settled into the glove? Because remember, it has to be conclusive for them to overturn. And it seems like the heel is hidden by Greg Bird's heel. So you don't know when the heel hit the bag. See? Well, the umpires back in New York City are looking at it.
Sticking with the original call that he's out.
Your original call. The ump's is safe.
My original call. David's original call.
Yeah, he looked out originally to me, and that's conclusive enough for me. I mean, if you want to split hairs about, the spike of his heel touching the glove. No, the ball's in the glove and his foot's in the air.
They're taking their time. This is not an easy one.
Brendan Ryan with a fantastic play. We never really have gotten to see a lot of Brendan Ryan because of all the injuries, and of course a lot of people talk about his offensive struggles, but he really was one of the best defenders in the game when he was in Seattle, and Yankee fans haven't had a chance to really see him flash that kind of defensive ability, and certainly right there he did.
Red Sox just came off a road trip, 4-2. Yankees in the middle of a road trip where they're 3-0. This is the last stop, and then another long homestand ahead of them. Home plate umpire Vic Carapazza tells Brian McCann, get back behind the plate so your pitcher could warm up. Well, it's certainly taken a long time, which would lead you to believe that they're battling turning it over. Again, taking the instant out of instant replay.
Well, there's no doubt from the Yankee standpoint that had to be challenged. From the judges in New York standpoint, obviously they've got to have something definitive that is conclusive.
Let's see what they do. Safe. Joe can't believe it.
The face says it all. That's perfect.
As strange as it sounds, I think the heel spike came into it. That's the only thing that we could figure, that it wasn't conclusive enough to overturn the call on the field. I believe that if the call on the field was out and the Red Sox challenged, they would say it's out.
It's a great point, Michael. No doubt about it. It's, the call on the field sets the standard. You had to challenge that call. He looked out, and whatever they saw in New York, they saw. It's a different criteria as far as conclusive or not conclusive.
Well, now they're letting Nova warm up because McCann went back to the dugout thinking that it was definitely going to be overturned.
Sometimes you get the feeling that they're just making too much out of it, Flash. I mean, the ball hit the glove and the foot's off the bag. I mean, was the spike touching the glove? Okay, it's not conclusive. That's a little extreme for my taste.
Yeah, the first replay we saw, we both said safe. I'm sorry, out. Go with the initial reaction.
Here's David Ortiz. He's had a pretty good month of August, 8 home runs. He's sitting at 494 home runs in his career, and the Red Sox have a countdown sign just over the left field monster against the stanchion, and they'll peel off numbers as he moves toward 500. Takes outside, 1-0.
Guys, I hated situations like this when I was catching and a pitcher either made a pitch, thought he was out of the inning, and there's that mental letdown. And all that time, over 3 minutes with the replay, McCann was in the dugout. And now, by the way, you got Big Papi up at the plate with 28 and 79 RBIs.
Ground ball to short right field. This one is definitely out as Ryan makes the play, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We played one at Fenway, 1-0 Yanks.
Yankees lead the Red Sox 1-0 as we head to the top of the second. It's time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center. Montefiore inspired medicine. Mark Teixeira is still bothered by the bone bruise in his right leg. He was sent back to New York earlier today. He'll have more tests tomorrow. General Manager Brian Cashman said he'll actually meet with Yankees team doctor Christopher Ahmad tomorrow. He'll have another CT scan, MRI, and X-ray. The Yankees were pretty hopeful that Teixeira was going to be able to play during this series, but Joe Girardi pretty much ruled him out for this entire series, saying he woke up today still feeling pain in that leg, realized he would still not be able to run on it, so they decided to send him back for more tests. They're now hoping that those earlier tests didn't miss anything and that he will be back at some point in time in the near future.
Greg Bird, who's taking over for Teixeira, lost one to left center as Betts runs it down. That is such a big loss for the Yankees, no matter how nice a job Greg Bird does. What Mark Teixeira has meant to this team, both offensively and defensively, and what a switch hitter in the middle of the lineup means, it's almost incalculable. And Alex Rodriguez, talking to the media in Atlanta, said, to me, Mark Teixeira is the MVP of the American League. Now, I don't think that's the case, but he's certainly the MVP of this team. And you're going to yank him out of the lineup for however long, and you're going to miss him. And then the Yankees have, done the best that they can. But if they get word that they're going to lose Teixeira for a long time, that's not good. And that's not splitting the atom, but he's an important part of this lineup. The balance and the protection for A-Rod.
Switch hitter too, very selective hitter, gets his share of walks, deep counts. Teixeira, more than anybody, sees himself in 2-0 and 3-1 counts as much or better than anybody in the lineup.
And, Michael, there was some talk with two lefties that the Yankees will see during this series, whether or not Joe Girardi would use Alex Rodriguez at first base at all. He did take some grounders at first on Saturday. Prior to that, he had not taken any grounders at first since back in May, and it seemed like it was something Girardi was toying with. But when General Manager Brian Cashman spoke earlier today, he said, we do not see Alex Rodriguez as a first baseman. We see him as a DH, so don't expect to see Alex Rodriguez there unless it's an emergency. Right now, it seems as though Chase Headley is the backup first baseman, but General Manager Brian Cashman also said Greg Bird is our guy right now until Teixeira comes back.
Meredith, I also got the sense that Alex wants no part of it, and he's being the good soldier. He doesn't want to be the guy, so I'm not playing, so he's going out there. But when we asked him in Atlanta, he said, I still have my mitt with me, but I don't have a first baseman's mitt. I'll have to get it from Teixeira. It did not seem like he's that anxious to embarrass himself at first.
Well, I think that's the thing, and you'll throw yourself out there because you're a competitor, but the last thing you want to do is hurt the ball club. That you're trying to help it. And at this point, he hasn't taken ground balls pretty much all year long. I don't see it being a good idea. And then on the Teixeira front, you worry that something that just looked like a foul ball off the shin now has gone on. And this guy is having such a great year. You know he wants to be out there.
Base hit to right field for Gregorius, who's now 8 for his last 13.
So I guess my point is, it's gone on this long. You really worry that there's something serious going on with that shin.
Excuse me, Michael, you kind of underestimate that deep of a bone bruise, and it's pretty close to a fracture, and you have to wonder rehab wise, maybe pushed it a little too soon, too quickly, trying to get back, and sort of aggravated the whole situation.
Now, I'm so glad you brought up, John, about how he wants to be out there. This guy desperately wants to be out there. Nobody could get inside his body and say that this feels that way. This guy was reestablishing himself as a power in Major League Baseball, a top-of-the-line player, and having a great year. And this has pretty much submarined him, but he wants to get out there. He just physically can't do it.
Yeah, and I had a very brief conversation with Mark in Atlanta as he was walking by, and you can tell there's a look of frustration. Like, I thought I'd be back by now, and it just hasn't responded. So hopefully he gets some good news with those further tests.
That happened on August 17th, 2 weeks ago tonight.
I think we saw all we needed to see in the one start that he did get in the middle of all this, and he couldn't even get out of the batter's box and run to first base. So that tells me that there was a little bit of an underestimation in terms of how severe that injury was and pushing it too quickly to try to get back.
Gregorius on first.
Speaking from experience, some of my teammates who have over the years have done the same thing as far as Teixeira goes think that the deep bone bruise, the type that he got, was almost worse than a fracture. So with a fracture, you just leave it alone and then it'll heal. And with a deep bone bruise like that, it sometimes takes longer to heal than an actual fracture.
0-2 on Brendan Ryan.
Well, I got to say, of all the position players that I've seen take the mound and actually pitch in a major league game, Brendan Ryan was one of the better ones I've seen. Full over the head wind up. Really enjoyed it. Kind of cracked that he shaved his mustache too quickly. He had the big, handlebar mustache working there, a la Raleigh Fingers.
I don't think he handled it the right way, though. He had some fun, but he also acknowledged, you don't want to be in that situation. I thought he handled it perfectly.
Good stuff and a good windup.
He's getting the start tonight, and you can understand why Joe Girardi does that with a tough lefty. But you think about Drew yesterday, goes 4 for 4, hits a home run, finally gets going, and you just get to the ballpark, you want to build on it. You got a tough lefty, and you got to watch and be ready for maybe a pinch hit appearance later on.
Strike 3. Ryan got looking, and he knew it.
You see Eduardo Rodriguez has got good control, and this one's right down the middle. Looked like it was trying to go away, and Brendan Ryan, sometimes you just get caught looking for something else.
John, you mentioned the good day yesterday for Stephen Drew with the 4 hits, and it upped his season average at 201. And it's the first time that his season average had stood at 200 or higher at the end of a day since June 19th of last year. He played 187 games in the interim. Here's Ellsbury. He reached on a catcher's interference in the first inning.
Well, you have to give Drew a lot of credit because he's felt the heat all year long. Never wavered, never complained, played good defense. At any time, you had the feeling that he could lose his job. There were several times, including Rob Refsnyder, who came up here at Fenway right before the All-Star break.
Popped up, shallow left. Jackie Bradley Jr. makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Yanks. Toyota is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Here's the question: are you surprised a team like the Dodgers was no-hit twice in a stretch of 9 games? Why or why not? JMA John says yes. They're a very talented team, and with the highest payroll, being no-hit twice is embarrassing. Once by Fires and yesterday by Arrieta, who had an unbelievable month of August. 6-0 with a minuscule ERA. And the final 3 outs, strikeouts.
Impressive. Yes, he sort of announced himself right into the Cy Young race. You know, it's sort of a foregone conclusion that Cy Young was going to be in L.A. either with Greinke or Kershaw, but Jake Arrieta is now clearly right in the middle of that discussion.
And they're having the same sort of discussion that we had in the first inning in Chicago. Cubs make the playoffs as a wild card. Everybody's rested. Do you start Arrieta or do you start Lester?
Arrieta.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Shaw.
Well, I'll go to your point about Tanaka. You're paying him to be your guy. You're paying Lester to be your guy.
You are, but I think there's extenuating circumstances in a one game playoff, including the running game against Lester.
Now, my biggest question with that no-hitter last night, I saw the last pitch, the strikeout you're talking about, and I think the catcher is Montero. Is that who's in Chicago? Mm-hmm. He turned to the umpire, said, "Nice job," and walked out to Arrieta. Now, I was never able to catch a no-hitter in the big leagues. I'd be out to the mound as quick as possible. He took it like it was no big deal.
I was shocked at how slowly it developed. I mean, Arrieta's out there screaming.
Waiting.
Yeah, nobody to hug.
Yeah.
Well, you made a friend with the ump for life.
Working it right to the end.
Cubs made a trade, a waiver wire deal today. They added Austin Jackson from Seattle. You have to be on the roster by midnight tonight to be on the playoff roster. Obviously, you could be acquired on September 5th or 6th or 7th, but you're not getting on the playoff roster after that. You can help the team get to the playoffs.
The only exception to that is an injury. I believe there might be an injury exemption for a player acquired after the deadline.
Ground ball to second.
I'll have to double check on that.
I believe that you have to be on the 40-man roster before September 1st.
To be designated as a replacement.
You don't have to be on the 25.
Right.
So if somebody gets hurt, then you could slide in, but I don't think you could be acquired. Here's Castillo. Getting a little bit of a run here and hitting .295. There's a strike.
Remember that last Red Sox series at Yankee Stadium? We were talking about Castillo. The Red Sox pay him all this money and not really playing. Well, that has changed now, and he's starting to figure it out. Batting average just under 300. He's hit for some power, and I was talking to Chili Davis, a hitting instructor with the Red Sox today before the game, and he was raving about some of the young kids. Shaw, we just saw, had a good at bat. Castillo starting to figure it out. Jackie Bradley Jr. has turned his year around, and then you sprinkle in the veterans like Ortiz, Bogarts, what he's doing, and what a productive lineup.
On their first 65 games of the year, the Red Sox were 27-38. And in their next 65, they were 33-32. So they played a lot better, but they kind of sealed their fate early. And the word is that Torey Lovullo has kept the clubhouse loose. Told them, listen, let's spoil things for some teams, try to move out of last place. And since becoming interim manager, the Red Sox are 10-6 under Torey. He also managed the 2 games where Farrell went in for hernia surgery. Ground ball is short, lost those 2. So they are 10-8 under him, but he was not the interim manager when Farrell went in for the surgery, and they were performing that hernia surgery, and that's where they saw that he had lymphoma. So he was very fortunate to have that surgery. Otherwise, it might have progressed when they did see it manifest itself. Lovello's always seemed to be on the short list when their managerial positions open, so there's a chance for him to show what he's about. Here's Brock Holt, the lone all-star representative for the Sox.
But there are so many things going on around the Red Sox. So when new president Dave Dombrowski comes in, John Farrell, you've detailed his situation. So are they playing well because of Lovello, which they could be, or are they playing well because they're playing for their manager who's gone down with this sickness, or a new president that's in town and everybody's on alert? Whatever the reason, they're playing better.
3 ground balls, 3 straight outs as Nova works a 1-2-3 second inning against the Sox. We go to the third. Yankees 1 and the Red Sox nothing. Use hashtag #YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. All right, we go to the third inning at Fenway. Yankees up 1-0 on the Audi A3 scoreboard. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Yankee order against Eduardo Rodriguez. He does not go. Young reached on an E5 in the first inning. Could have been an around-the-horn double play, but Sandoval bobbled and lost the play at both bases. And a strike. Bottom of the third inning, Rays lead the Orioles 1-0. Top of the fourth, Indians 1, Blue Jays 0. Right here, 1-0 Yankees over the Red Sox. So those 3 games involve all AL East participants, except for Cleveland, who has to obviously play an American League East team. 1 away.
Tell you what, some of these ground balls, you can tell the infield at Fenway very hard. The ball getting up on the infielders quickly. Sandoval has already made an error on a young ground ball earlier.
I'll tell you what, Jeter always complained about this infield. This was not his favorite infield. Here's A-Rod. A-Rod ripped a single to left in the first inning. Had a pinch hit, 2-run single in yesterday's game in Atlanta. Essentially, he had 4 days off. He pinch hit on Saturday, was intentionally walked. Pinch hit yesterday, got that 2-run single, then eventually got pinch run for late for that inning when he got the second. So he was off his legs for about 4 straight days. And he thinks that is going to be the tonic. High fly ball, center field. Betts there will make the play for the second out. And that brings up Beltran.
Both pitchers working fast, very quickly, throwing strikes.
Trying to make up for that 3-minute, 8-second replay review. That one is lined into center field. Betts is there and puts it away. And the Yankees are retired in order 1-2-3. We're going to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 Bombers. By People's United Bank N.A., checking that wins, expertise that wows. And by the Accolades, that kind of summer event. Traffic moving briskly. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, it's 1-0 Yankees on a sac fly by Beltran in the first inning. Audi A3 scoreboard shows the Yankees with 2 hits, Red Sox with 1. Red Sox have committed 2 errors because the catcher's interference is an error on the catcher. Here's Ryan Hannigan. Soft ground ball is short. Gregorius gobbles it up. 1 away. We talked about Dave Dombrowski being the new head of baseball operations. He's looking to hire a GM that would execute his vision for the team. Then Cherington was let go. But Dombrowski's been quoted as saying this is not a long rebuild. He said there's just a couple of pieces. He said the talent is certainly here. And probably what they need to add is an ace pitcher. They thought they'd get by with 5 number 3 type starters where somebody would distinguish themselves. But the Red Sox do have talent on the major league roster and in the minor league system as well.
Well, you'd have to say this year played out kind of the way we thought it would in spring training, right? The pitching staff didn't really impress anybody, and that's been the case this year. We thought they would score runs. It didn't happen early. It's starting to pick up later. Mainly Ramirez out with some shoulder problems. Sandoval not really doing what they thought he would do. But I think it's pretty much a club we thought we'd see.
I think Hanley Ramirez was the only one hitting early in the year.
Yeah.
David Ortiz really struggled.
Swing and a miss.
The guy I can't figure out is Joe Kelly. You see him at times, he looks like a #1 guy throwing in the upper 90s, and then was sent down to the minor leagues at some point this year.
Now Kelly pitched well against the Mets, and Nick Gafardo, longtime writer for the Boston Globes, wrote a story where he's kind of being compared to Evaldi, where he used to be able to throw a ball through a wall and think he could get people out. Now he's using secondary pitchers like Nathan Evaldi and become a much better pitcher.
He had a great August. His last half a dozen starts have been very good.
Line drive, a base hit to left field for Jackie Bradley Jr.
Jackie Bradley Jr. has made a major adjustment in his swing. The numbers have gotten so much better. He used to have a long swing that you could really beat him up inside. And now from the side, he's using his hands a little bit better. He's got that leg kick, but that swing not as long as it was early on. And a good pitch by Nova down and away. He just rifles it the other way. Talking to Chili Davis, a hitting instructor, he said just talking about using his hands a little bit more, and the numbers have gotten a lot better.
Well, to your point, John, on August 5th, Jackie Bradley Jr. was hitting 102. And people were wondering how much does he figure into the future of this team. Coming into this game since then, hitting 357, raising his average to 259. And during this stretch, 16 of his 25 hits have been for extra bases. So he's kind of revived his career, at least here in Boston.
I saw those numbers and I went right to Chili behind the cage and I said, you got to tell me, because it had to be something. And he said it was, but it was pretty simple. It was just instead of using your body to get ready to hit, just use your hands a little bit and think about your hands moving a little bit more. It simplified everything, and Bradley has taken off.
Pitch out.
And amazing how one thing mechanically, either hitting or pitching, David, it just turns your year around. Something clicks.
Yeah, the light bulb definitely went off with Jackie Bradley Jr. And also a tip from his teammate Rick Porcello about his stride, locking himself off and kind of landing closed, and kind of freed up his hips and his hands, and all of a sudden he's driving the ball.
High drive, left field. Young turning, looking, see ya. Into the seats, over the monster. A 2-run home run for Betts. And Red Sox lead 2-1.
Well, Mookie Betts has been one of those young players who has been in the lineup right from the beginning. He's had a very solid year. This is going to be his 13th home run. It's a two-seamer McCann wants down and in. It ends up middle of the plate. And you can see right when Betts makes contacts here at Fenway, he knows it's gone. A 2-run shot.
Well, that's Betts' strength, middle end. He's always been lightning quick on the inside corner. So if you come in, you better get it in there. And I think by all measures that Mookie Betts has been the best player on the Red Sox all year long when you factor in base running and defense all around. Clearly the most productive player on the Red Sox.
Nova looked like he had it going on pretty well. We're getting a bunch of ground balls, David, and then all of a sudden you make one mistake. Fenway Park, and ends up being a 2-run bomb.
Now Mookie Betts and the Red Sox were at Citi Field over the weekend. And word got out that Mookie Betts really wanted to meet Mookie Wilson. Now, he was not named after Mookie Wilson. He was named after Mookie Blaylock, the basketball player. And Mookie Wilson was there all 3 days. Obviously, Mookie Betts was there all 3 days, and they can never meet each other. They're always doing something. I mean, they intended to meet, but they never did. Hit sharply to Gregorius. Stays with the tough up and gets Sandoval.
I'd have to put Gregorius's accuracy on his arm up with anybody right now in today's game. Arm strength and accuracy, amazing. I don't think we've seen him make one bad throw the whole year, maybe one, if that. Everything is right there, chest high every time.
And he's not lobbing it over there either. That's not a dart.
Here's Bogarts. Chop to Bird. He takes it himself, and that will do it. But the Red Sox take the lead. A single by Bradley, a 2-run home run by Betts over the monster. We go to the 4th. It's 2-1 Sox. On the Blue Jays in an important divisional matchup and for one of the hottest collectibles of the season. It's Babe Ruth bobblehead night, the final one in the 2015 collectible series presented by AT&T. For the first 18,000 guests in attendance for tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Lincoln scoreboard, 2-1 Red Sox. We go to the top of the 4th. Brian McCann leads off. And Eduardo Rodriguez deals the strike.
One of the things the Red Sox love about Rodriguez is the use of his fastball. Coming into this inning, out of the 45 pitches, 37 fastballs. Both sides of the plate. Pitches off of that fastball. Hard to get young pitchers to do that. Clearly a very confident young man on the mound, and pitches with a lot of confidence with number 1.
That was always the game plan. If you could be, pitcher, catcher, and get through a lineup one time with just your fastball establishing it, obviously things will get better as you move on. But what do they say? If they're not hitting your fastball, why are you going to make a change? Make them prove that they can hit it.
Kind of the old school philosophy. Yes, throw it in there until they prove they can hit it. One of the best I ever saw doing that was Brett Saberhagen, the former Royal pitcher, Cy Young Award winner, pitched here in Boston too. First time through the order, it's all fastball.
McCann, leadoff walk. First walk for the Yankees. Here's Chase Headley. And a strike.
David, I hear you talk about lefty Rodriguez, and he's throwing his fastball, and I think, you know what, this guy would be built right in for me. I loved hitting the fastball, couldn't hit the off-speed stuff, but he throws so hard and he slings it in there on righties. You're not used to seeing left-handed pitchers attack a hitter like this guy does, and it gets you on your heels a little bit as a hitter, and you get beat. Perfect example right there. Fastball at 94, but he rushes it in off the plate. That's uncomfortable for a right-hander. You don't see it a lot.
It's almost like 4 different pitches off of one fastball. Different quadrants, up and in, up and away, down and in. Moving it around with good command.
Line drive, left center. It's in there for a base hit. Bradley gets the ball in. McCann moves to second. Yankees have runners on first and second, nobody out.
Headley has been consistent lately, and he got a changeup. It was not the fastball. He was looking for number 1. He gets a changeup, and he's way out in front off the end of the bat. Strong enough just to drop it into left field.
That's really the side of the plate that Headley's really improved on. Early in the year, struggling batting right-handed. Now, came into this game up over 280 batting right-handed, and that's going up.
Here's Greg Bird. Bottom of the 4th inning, Rays lead the Orioles 3-0. That game in Camden Yards. Indians still holding a 1-0 lead over the Blue Jays, top of the 5th in Toronto. Right here, Red Sox 2, Yankees 1. Bird swings and misses.
Just when we're talking about all the fastballs, he gets a left-hander up there, and Bird, 2 really good sliders. Best ones he has thrown tonight. Quickly head 0-2 on Bird.
The 0-2. Line sharply, a base hit for Bird against the tough lefty. McCann will be held up at third, and the Yankees have the bases loaded and nobody out.
He threw 2 really good sliders to Bird, down and away. He decided to throw 3 in a row, and the third one not his best.
The best one to hit was the one that should have been the worst. I certainly can feel for him. It is difficult to throw 3 straight sliders and make them all progressively better and further out of the strike zone. That is the key, though. A lot of times that's when you hang it. When you're trying to throw that nasty one off the plate, you end up rushing with your lower half and trying to snap it too hard.
High bases loaded. Yankees trail 2-1. Nobody out here in the top of the 4th. Here's Gregorius, who singled to right in the 2nd inning. And a strike. Now you see he's at 59 pitches. Also, we should note that the Red Sox bullpen has been very, very shaky. So if you get into that bullpen, you got a chance. Koji Uehara is out for the year with an injury. Tazawa was the closer. He was demoted yesterday. Gene Machi is the closer now. First half of the season, Didi a .238 hitter in 81 games. Now 42 games in the second half, .315. He has turned his season around after a very rough month and a half at the start. Sure-handed in the field. First month he looked lost at the plate, and certainly not the case now. 1-1. Lined into center field. It is a base hit. McCann scores. They're going to hold Headley at third. Yankees take it base to base. It's an RBI single for Gregorius, and the game is tied at 2.
Good pitch to hit. Trying to go down and away. Gregorius, to his credit on the lefty, right back up the box with it. Doesn't try to pull that pitch. But that's the secret, I think, in Gregorius. You saw those numbers first half and second half, and he's hitting the ball where it's pitched now. Left field, using all parts of the ballpark now.
You remember back when we were in Tampa in spring training, we were talking about, well, you can't play him against lefties, you know, so you're going to have somebody to supplement him against left-handed pitching. Those days are over right now. You feel pretty comfortable, especially against a guy who doesn't have that big-time slider. Gregorius 2 for 2 already in an RBI.
Boy, does that deal look like a great deal now. Question when it was made. Really question when Shane Green got off to the good start. Now Shane Green has had surgery. He's out for the year. Even before the surgery, he was having a terrible, terrible season. He'd been demoted, and the Yankees might have found a shortstop for the next number of years.
Well, you give DD a lot of credit, but I think you also give the front office for the Yankees a lot of credit for sticking with him early when it didn't look real good. You know, wasn't playing good baseball, wasn't swinging the bat, and making some errors. Now all of a sudden a very, very solid player.
There's Brendan Ryan with the bases loaded, nobody out. Swing and a miss.
Well, that's a great point, Flash. If you look at the two main acquisitions in the offseason, a lot of credit goes to the scouting, including Nathan Eovaldi, the one starter that they targeted and wanted, and of course Gregorius was the guy they picked. So top to bottom, the scouting. I know Gene Stickmichael had a hand in that. Really liked Gregorius.
And you also have to look at the addition of Justin Wilson in the bullpen and Chasen Shreve. Now the David Carpenter one was a miss, but if you're going to have a lot of hits, you could take a miss every now and then. So the acquisitions the front office had during the offseason at this point paying off.
And not just one-year solutions. They've got two young players that are under contractual control with tremendous upside.
Two bases loaded. Nobody out. We're in the fourth. 1-2. Nub slowly in front of the plate. The out is made at home as Headley slides across, but he's out on the 1-2. And Ryan reaches on the fielder's choice. The other runners move up. Bases remain loaded. 1 out.
Big pitch by Rodriguez. Got ahead of Brendan Ryan. Then went with the changeup. Pretty easy play coming in with the bare hand. You see Brendan Ryan out front, off balance.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Reached on a catcher's interference in the first inning, came around to score on the Beltran sac fly, then had a fly ball to shallow left. So he comes up with the bases loaded, 1 out.
Came into this game with really good numbers against Rodriguez, so an opportunity here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Rodriguez, to his credit, he pitched out of some trouble in that first inning, only gave up the 1 run. Trying to pitch his way out of trouble again, already giving up 1.
That one is laced into left, caught by Bradley. The throw home is in time as Bird is tagged out. What a throw by Bradley to complete the double play. You can't hit the ball harder than Ellsbury hit it. Bradley made the catch, uncorked the throw, and Bird is out trying to score on the sac fly. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Yankees managed just 1 as they tie the score at 2. Returns to yes, and Alcorn State takes on ACC powerhouse and 16th ranked Georgia Tech at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. Catch all the action live Thursday night at 7:30 right here on Yes. Go to the bottom of the 4th inning and take a look at the last play on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Problem with the send, guys?
I do. I think you factor in all the conditions. You know, the runner, Greg Bird, is slow at first. It was a line drive. Jackie Bradley Jr. was much more shallow than the previous one with Ellsbury. And Jackie Bradley Jr.'s got a cannon. So you got Chris Young on deck, bases loaded, Fenway Park. Pushing the system there with that thrower and that runner, to me, is a mistake.
There's a strike to Ortiz.
And I think back to, being a catcher and a slow runner. I mean, Greg Bird runs decent. He doesn't run well enough to be trying to score at Fenway Park with that short left field.
Ortiz hits one deep to left field. Young back, turning, looking. See ya. Home run for David Ortiz. And the Red Sox take a 3-2 lead. It's his 29th home run of the year, a 495th of his career. And it just cleared the monster to give the Red Sox the lead.
David Ortiz, since he has come to Fenway Park, Really changed the course of his career, learning how to hit here and learning how to hit for power up against that green monster.
You watch this pitch. This pitch is off the plate. It ends up almost out of the strike zone, and Ortiz just leans out over the plate and drives it just over the wall.
There has to be right-handed pitchers, David, that he just doesn't think they're ever going to come inside, and I can look out over the plate.
No doubt. When you're going off the plate like that, and covering that pitch and driving it, then you're leaving the inside corner open. And then we mentioned it in the scouting report about Nova having to keep lefties honest inside.
There's a little ledge there. You could see it clearly was on top of that ledge and then falls back into the field of play.
It was actually a changeup from Nova, that home run that was flat, but it was off the plate, out of the strike zone, that Ortiz just leaned out and laid all over.
There are some lefties who have really changed the course of their career in this ballpark. Mo Vaughn was a teammate of mine in AAA and was a good hitter, but was more of a pull power guy. He got with Mike Easler, the hitting instructor, and learned how to inside out everything here at Fenway. Made him a better hitter and an MVP type player.
Swing and a miss. Shaw down on strikes. Check how quickly they changed the number from 494 to 495. Wow, the ball landed.
There was a little question on whether it cleared the wall, right? It was a no-doubter.
Looks like the guy in charge has on a denim vest. If you do, you know what you're doing. If you feel strong enough to wear the denim vest, you know exactly what you're doing.
Gotta have some confidence to sport that look.
Yeah. The guy with the gray goat. Kind of that Schneider look. Fly ball left field. Young is there. Lincoln scoreboard, it's 3-2 Red Sox.
Kind of an uneasy feeling if you're in the Yankee dugout. Missed opportunities, a lot of base runners, and quick damage on the other side. The Red Sox, 2 home runs.
Joe Girardi watching his offensive ball club. Bases loaded a couple of times in this game. 2 runs, 1 in each of those innings.
There's a strike to Brock Holt. Bottom of the 4th, 3-2 Red Sox. First game of this 3-game set. Grounded up the middle, slowed down by Nova. Bryant's there, and that will do it here in the 4th. But the Red Sox take the lead. David Ortiz connects for his 29th home run of the year, his 80th ribby, and when it lands, gives the Red Sox a 3-2 lead. Top flight defensively. Just an amazing play taking a home run away. So we go to the 5th inning, and the Red Sox lead the Yankees 3-2 on the Bigelow T scoreboard. And here's Chris Young to lead off against Eduardo Rodriguez. 0-1.
Talked about Chris Young all year, how his numbers against left-handed pitching, the best in the league, just tremendous damage, doubles, homers, a slugging percentage.
Fly ball, left field. Bradley makes the play on the warning track, and we check back in with Bob Lorenz in the studio. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Right here, it's 3-2. Red Sox over the Yankees top of the 5th, and here's A-Rod.
Just want to make sure Donaldson had a highlight that wasn't a home run. Usually every highlight we see from him, the ball's finding the seat somewhere.
He's trying to wrestle away the MVP award from Mike Trout in Anaheim. Doing a pretty good job of it. Billy Beane is a legend out there in Oakland. He's a great GM. He kind of dropped the ball in that trade. I think he would admit it at this point, too.
Come on, A-Rod. Big strikeout, man. Big strikeout. Come on, baby. Did you see that?
A-Rod singled in the 1st, and a fly ball to center in the 3rd.
Come on, A-Rod, baby. Attaboy.
Got the fastball by him inside, 2-way. Hey, the most popular way to follow the Yankees' push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now.
I got it on right now.
Yes, you do. It's a great app. Here's Carlos Beltran. Sac fly, left field in the 1st, and he lined out to center in the 3rd. Grounded and off the third base bag and past Sandoval, and it'll go to the wall. Beltran will take second. It's a double with 2 outs.
Beltran had a rocket to center field his last at bat. Nothing to show for it. It again hits the ball hard right down the line, off of the bag. It's by Sandoval. So he had it all lined up, and then all of a sudden deflected off the bag. Carlos Beltran will take it. A stand-up double with 2 outs.
Tying runs at second. Here is Brian McCann. 1-1 on McCann. McCann with a fly ball right in the first, and he walked and scored in the fourth.
Beltran's hit is going to extend this inning just a bit to allow McCann to have a shot here, and pitch number 79 coming from Rodriguez. And we've noted that you definitely want to get into that Red Sox bullpen nowadays. They have been used a lot, and they have struggled as of late. So here in the top of the fifth, pushing 80 pitches.
Rodriguez threw 104 last time out, 114 the time before. Torey Lovullo, the manager, probably is going to extend him at some point. Because of what you're talking about, David, that bullpen exhausted and not really pitching very well lately. And you know what? With a young pitcher, you have nothing to lose, right? You let him pitch deeper into games, try to pitch out of some stressful situations.
Check the swing.
So how uncomfortable Brian McCann was right there on that fastball inside. As a left-handed hitter against a left-hander pitcher, you're so used to seeing everything middle and away. And then you get some pitches running inside. You're going to be off balance. You're not used to seeing it. That's another thing the Red Sox like about the left-handed pitcher, how he bears the ball in on left-handed hitters.
It's almost like you start your swing and stop and get your back leg out of the way.
And he walks McCann with 2 outs, and that brings up Headley. See the pitch breakdown, 24 in the first inning, 22 in the fourth. You got 2 quick outs here in the fifth, but the double by Beltran, a walk to McCann, and now Headley's up. And a strike, 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
A lot of talk about protecting young pitchers. I think Yankee fans can relate that Adam Warren was taken out of the Yankee rotation because they were worried about his innings limit. Eduardo Rodriguez, the most he's ever pitched in the minor leagues is 145 innings. He's at that right now. So it'll be interesting to see how far the Red Sox push him. Big plans for this young lefty, but he's already right now, including his minor league innings this year, right at coming up on the 150 mark, which is a career high.
Count 2-1 on Headley. Headley struck out looking in the first, and then a single left in the fourth.
I mean, not that any organization has figured this out, David, because obviously all the Tommy John surgeries and pitchers get hurt. What does it say, 40 more innings is what you're supposed to build up?
You know, every team has their own little formula, but you definitely don't want to see a big jump, which is why Adam Warren was protected and taken out of the rotation. Adam Warren's situation a little different. He had spent the last couple of years in relief, even though he was a starter in the minor leagues. Eduardo Rodriguez has always been a starter.
For some reason, I can't picture a pitching coach coming to you and say, hey, we're going to back down your innings, David. It's a different game.
Everybody's dealing with it now. The Mets rotation's dealing with it, skipping Matt Harvey for his start, trying to manage the innings. Adam Warren was just a victim of his own circumstances. Nothing that he did wrong. He pitched very well in the rotation.
2-2.
I think everybody has learned a lesson from the Steven Strasburg situation a few years ago when they just shut him down and made the playoffs and needed him, and since that point, they've never had another chance. It's almost like the baseball gods have frowned on them, but there's a better way to manage innings. The Stephen Strasburg situation in Washington a couple of years ago was the way not to do it. I think organizations have learned from that, including the Mets. And as I said before, managing Matt Harvey or a guy like Matt Harvey's innings.
Quick conference on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Red Sox 3, Yankees 2, top of the 5th inning at Fenway. First game of a 3-game set. Rodriguez from the set deals. Just missed inside with the fastball.
Tell you what, Headley having a good at bat, fouling off some tough pitches, and then taking this one. Hannigan wanted it up, he wanted it in, and he tries to bring it back to the strike zone, doesn't get the call.
You have to really pay attention to where the catcher sets up before the pitch is delivered. As his glove was off the plate inside.
Runners go. Pitch inside, so a walk to Headley. And that loads the bases for Greg Bird. Carl Willis talking things over. And here comes Willis as he will talk with Rodriguez.
Nice little 2-out rally here. All started off with Beltran's 2-out double.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
Well, every major league catcher knows who's on deck, and Greg Bird for the Yankees, left-handed hitter, standing in the on-deck circle watching that hole at bat. Hannigan called a 3-2 slider from Rodriguez. It misses. So now you have bases loaded with a young left-handed hitter, and we'll see what he can do in this opportunity. Very long conference at the mound.
Vic Carapazza taking part in it as well, giving some advice. Finally breaks it up.
No, Flash, I also think when you're evaluating young pitchers and trying to manage their innings, as the Red Sox are with Rodriguez here, that the eye test has never been more important. Not just a numerical test of 20 or 40 more innings per year. It's more of how's he look? How's he throwing? Are his mechanics good? Make that point on pitch counts, too. You know, all of a sudden, the magical 100 pitch mark comes around, and no 2 starts are the same. Obviously, Rodriguez laboring here now a little bit.
Threw 3 sliders to Bird before, now starts him off with a fastball inside. And the count 0-1. One and one.
Well, that's where the old-time pitching coaches, the talent evaluators, the guys in the dugout, the Don Zimmer types, that their computer was their eyes, is really important to add a piece to the puzzle of this equation that's dominated by numbers, number of innings, number of pitches. What about that pitching coach right there? What do you see? Is the ball still coming out of his hand very well?
Missed outside, no place to put Bird. The count 2-1.
You can't really take the human element out of it. Still, to me, even more important than ever now. As everybody's confused on what to do about Tommy John or workload or young pitchers. One thing everybody agrees on is fatigue leads to injury.
2-1. 3-1.
Well, if you're Hannigan and you call that 3-2 slider to Headley to load the bases, you're trusting a young pitcher who can throw the ball over the plate to Greg Bird. Now Bird in the driver's seat. You'd expect him to get a fastball.
Good at bat and some good takes here from Bird.
Foul back the fastball. Well, that's going to start the merry-go-round. All runners will go. 3-2, 2 outs.
We've seen Greg Bird for a little bit, but he looks very comfortable against left-handed pitching. I don't think in the future, whenever that is, when he gets his opportunity, you're going to think about platooning or giving him a day off. The at-bats against lefties pretty good.
The runners go. The 3-2. Line foul. They'll do it again.
Well, a young pitcher in Rodriguez throws a 3-2 slider for a strike. Good job by him. And a young hitter in Greg Bird able to foul it off in a good swing. He was on the fastball 3-1. He was on the slider 3-2. Throw a fastball in, you probably get him. Tough pitch to do with the bases loaded. Good pitch. He went inside. He located, and again, Greg Bird, not overmatched, fouls it off.
It's one of those pitches, boy, you just can't take it. Too close to take. It's a little bit up. It's on the plate. It's been an excellent at bat for Greg Bird up to this point.
He's forcing the young left-hander to continue to throw strikes. Again, the runners will go 3-2, 2 outs. We're in the fifth, 3-2. Red Sox lead. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him. High fastball. Rodriguez escapes trouble. No runs to hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. We are halfway through. Red Sox 3, Yankees 2. Reliable internet. Rick Porcello has had a rough year. He'll get the start for the Red Sox, and for the Yankees, Michael Pineda trying to get on track. He'll get the start for them at 9 and 8, 4.19. Coverage will begin at 6 p.m. on Yes. First pitch right around 7:05. So a big strikeout of Greg Bird as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's 3-2 Red Sox. Ryan Hannigan leads off against Ivan Nova. Bigelow T scoreboard 3-4-2, leading 2-6-0. A couple of home runs by the Red Sox, 2-run shot by Betts, a solo shot by Ortiz.
Notice with Ivan Nova, it's just the opposite when he has the advantage on the platoon split, facing a right-handed batter. Very easy getting the ball inside. That two-seamer naturally, arm side run, gets inside to right-handed batters consistently.
Line drive, left field, and that dumps in front of Chris Young, the leadoff single for Ryan Hannigan. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Single to left field in the third. Came around to score on the Betts home run. Yankees have dominated the Red Sox this year, winning 8 of 12 and 5 of 6 at Fenway. Up the middle, slowed down by Nova, and it's going to be a base hit. I think that was a can't win because that was probably ticketed as a single.
Well, the trainer's going to come out and check on Nova. Off his leg, Brendan Ryan doesn't have a play. Mark Littlefield out there to have a talk. Looks like he's going to be okay. One thing Jackie Bradley Jr. has done with this recent hot streak is he's bringing pitchers back into the zone where he likes it. Used to be able to beat him up inside. And all of a sudden he's taking care of that, and the Yankees know it. Now you got to go back to another game which is off speed, and it's going to be the curveball, and you want it to drop, but you can see it just kind of settles middle, doesn't have that real big bite on it. That plays right into Jackie Bradley Jr.'s strength.
Yeah, Bradley much more aggressive now too. Early when he first got called up, he was trying to work walks a lot, takes a lot of pitches, found himself down 2 strikes quite often. Not anymore. Very aggressive early in the count.
This inning's all set up. Bottom of the order, 8-9. Couple of base hits.
Betts shows bunt, takes high. Along with David Cohn, John Flaherty, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, and we certainly thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us here on Yes. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 3-2. First and second, nobody out. Headley charging at third. The 1-0. There's a strike with the fastball. Looking at Brian Butterfield going through the signs.
It's a tough one to read. Not sure if Betts had the bunt and just didn't like the pitch, or
I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, he hit his 13th home run of the year. Well, you're in the middle of this ball game, first and second.
Bunted foul.
I don't know. There are situations that I love the sacrifice bunt. In this situation, up by 1 in the middle of a game with a guy already hit a 2-run home run. And it looks like he was caught in between a little bit. Now he's behind in the count 1-2, and Nova has to take advantage. What will that one pitch be to either pick up a strikeout or get that ground ball? It's either the 2-seamer in here, or you go with the breaking ball in the dirt and trust McCann to block it.
And he blocked it.
Good play by McCann. I mean, we've seen him sometimes this year where he tries to pick with his glove, but not this time. Really moves the body out to his right. Ends up in his glove, but if it didn't end up there, it would have hit his chest protector.
that ball's in the middle of the batter's box as well. Nowhere near home plate.
2-2. Nubbed in front of the plate. Grabbed by McCann. Fires to third. They get the fourth. One away.
Well, back-to-back pitches. You can't do much better than Brian McCann. Blocking the ball, keeping it in front. You keep the force play intact. And then Nova really executes one of the, maybe not his best breaking ball, but Mookie Betts out in front. It's a swinging bunt. And Brian McCann all the way thinking the play is in front of me. I'm going to third. And the accurate throw. Headley acts like a first baseman and stretches. Nice play.
Force play at third. You have a lot more time than you think you have. But McCann very athletic there, off balance. All arm strength.
Here's Sandoval. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and a ground ball to short. Good speed on the bases. Bradley at second and Betts at first. Headley way off the line at third. Now it's a clear throw with a left-handed batter up from McCann to third, but it becomes a foot race between Headley and Bradley if Bradley takes off, because Headley's so far off the line. As McCann would have to hit a moving target. High pop-up. Gregorius makes the play for the second out.
Fastball pretty much right down the middle, and you see Sandoval just working underneath and maybe trying to get a little too big, trying to do some damage.
Yeah, that's a case of a hitter getting himself out. It was elevated just enough to induce a pop-up, but once again, Nova trying to come in on a lefty, and it drifted back on him just a bit. Sandoval, as Flash said, big swing, got himself out.
Indians have tied up the Blue Jays 2-2, top of the 7th inning. They have a runner at third base with 1 out. Rays 6, Orioles 0, middle of the 6th inning. Here's Bogarts. And there's a breaking ball strike.
That clearly has been better for Nova today. His curveball for strikes has been very good. It's a real key for him, being able to, early in the count like that, get ahead with that curveball for strikes and then miss with it down when you're trying to get a strikeout.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Another one. This one's a little quicker and a little more slider-like break to it. Sometimes you're on the mound, you know, and the hitters give you too much credit. You just found a seam and snapped one off and got a little tighter spin and a little different look to the break on that particular pitch.
The 0-2. Missed outside with a crackling fastball, and Nova can't believe it.
Watch the glove. That's the key. It's where McCann is set up. He hit the target. But that's what makes Brian McCann, you know, trying to stretch the zone 0-2. That's the catcher's job.
Well, it's the perfect 0-2 pitch, right? I mean, as a pitcher, you don't want to throw the ball over the plate. You want it to be just off. He didn't get the call. Now you've made 3 quality pitches in this at bat. Can you make a 4th?
Runners go. Line drive caught by Headley. And that will do it here in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. 5 in the books at Fenway, 3-2 Red Sox. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #YesDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. This is from official Jimby's. A lot of Yankee stuff in that picture. That's the Yes Data Strong Fan. So we go to the 6th inning as the Yankees trail the Red Sox 3-2, and now the Blue Jays trail the Indians 3-2 as the Indians get 2 runs against David Price, top of the 7th. There's a strike to D.D. Gregorius as we start the 6th. Also, Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports is reporting that the Kansas City Royals have acquired Johnny Gomes from the Atlanta Braves. Always known as a real good clubhouse guy, so they add him before the playoff roster deadline.
It's like a good luck charm now, I think, Johnny Gomes.
Pretty good night for D.D. Gregorius, 3 for 3 against the left-hander as he starts the 6th with a single.
Completely different player from the beginning of the year. Even when he made contact at the beginning of the year, it was not hard contact. Now 3 for 3. Hard line drives.
Now, clearly, Rodriguez struggling. His velocity's down this inning after the bases loaded jam last inning. 91 miles an hour. Gregorius all over that, and that's going to be it.
So the Red Sox hold their breath as they go to the bullpen. Torey Lovullo makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Runner on, nobody out here in the 6th. Those are the thrilling moments of the game brought to you by Pepsi. Robbie Ross Jr. deals to Brendan Ryan, who swings and fouls the ball off in front of the plate. And Aaron Boone's actually here with Espen as they're doing this game around the country. That's Dallas Braden next to him. It's amazing that 2 Yankees who hit big home runs against the Red Sox have the exact same middle name, which we can't say on the air. At least in Boston they do. Those are the numbers on the left-hander, Ross. This is his 43rd game.
The Red Sox bullpen now going to have to get 12 outs with a 1-run lead as Eduardo Rodriguez escaped 3 times the bases loaded with a 1-run lead.
Yeah, this might be one of those outings where he impresses the Red Sox even more than when he dominates, right? I mean, he was in trouble all night We gave up the 2 runs.
Yeah, one of them unearned because of the error in the first. Got to believe if this game were played tomorrow with expanded rosters, would Brendan Ryan hit right here in this situation?
And Ryan swings through a 3rd strike, so he's down with a runner on first, and now back to the top of the order, and Jacoby Ellsbury. The makeup of the Red Sox bullpen is 3 left-handers and 4 righties. To go along with Robbie Ross Jr., you have Craig Breslow and Tommy Lane from the left side. And from the right side, it's Tazawa, Heath Hembry, Alexi Ogando, and Gene Mushy.
Hey, want more rings? What about the money, baby?
Ellsbury's 0 for 2, reached on a catcher's interference and scored. There's a strike.
The Yankees' one big trade acquisition. Dustin Ackley's on rehab and been hit swinging the bat pretty well, so I'd anticipate him being here in short order. I think after the Scranton game tonight, those guys will be told who's coming up, and tomorrow will be expanded rosters.
Isn't it incredible how that has changed through the course of the years? I mean, back when I was playing, expanded rosters was, okay, you guys had a couple of good years at AAA, maybe 2-3 guys get to the big leagues as more of a reward. Now all of a sudden you're bringing up left-handed relievers, an extra catcher, somebody who could steal.
Fly ball, center field, deepest part of the park, as Betts makes the catch.
I guess my point is it's changing the way games are being played in the month of September.
Great point. I mean, when I was a September call-up, it was go sit at the end of the bullpen and you might get a chance to pitch this month.
That's right.
If you're lucky. Or if you're a position player, go sit down on the end of the bench and be quiet unless somebody speaks to you first.
Or a catcher, go to the bullpen and catch some bullpens and be happy that you're here, and I was. Those days are over.
Which, you know, Michael, you've talked about it and brought it up. That's the whole Buck Showalter idea of go ahead and expand the rosters, but designate 25 guys for each game or each series. I think that's an idea that's going to gain momentum with a new commissioner in office.
It was Chris Young. You know, Joe Girardi had a pretty interesting theory. He said they should allow us to expand the rosters in April when we're not stretched out pitching wise. He said this way you have more guys in the bullpen. He goes, that makes more sense than changing the rules in September. (2-0) to Chris Young.
Kind of a big spot for Young here, and you mentioned, you know, his numbers on overall in the year so good against lefties, but recently really kind of struggling. Coming into this game just 2 for 20 his last 15 games.
Come on, man. One more. Come on now.
He's got a pitch now you would think will be a fastball. With the Yankees green light him on 3-0. Hoping he hits one over the wall. And it's outside, so Young walks on 4 pitches. That moves the tying run into scoring position. That's Gregorius, and it brings up A-Rod.
Robbie Ross Jr. thinking, what did I just do? 4 straight balls to Young, and now I got Alex Rodriguez up there.
Alex tonight, hard singled left in the first. Fly ball to center in the third, struck out in the fifth. All of those against the left-hander, Eduardo Rodriguez.
No real thought in the Boston dugout of playing matchup this early in the game. Too many outs to get. Lefty, righty. Not really an option at this point, especially considering the state of the Boston bullpen right now. Overworked. very much struggling recently.
So Hannigan getting some instructions from the dugout. And the dugout's a long way away from home plate here at Fenway, both sides. DD at second. Chris Young is at first. 2 men out, top of the sixth, 3-2 Boston. A-Rod at the plate. Swings at the first pitch and lofts it to center field. Betts is there. Betts makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. Coming up for the Red Sox, David Ortiz will lead it off. He's hurt the Yankees for so many years. He's hurt a lot of people as well. See how the Yankees deal with him in the sixth. Another chance to catch the latest episode of The Hookup with Brandon Steiner as Yankees reliever Dylan Betances gives a surprise hookup to the Brooklyn-based Youth Service League. That's tonight after the postgame, and it's only on Yes. Ivan Nova starts the bottom of the sixth, and he will face David Ortiz. Ortiz, the difference in this game. His home run on the fourth broke a 2-2 tie, and that's where we are right now. Red Sox 3, Yankees 2. You look at the numbers on Ortiz, 265, 29 homers, and 80 ribbies. And started off slowly, and everybody keeps predicting every year or so the eventual end of his career. His bat is slowed, but he's going to have another 30 home run year, close to 100 ribbies. So he's defying the baseball gods and Mother Nature, or Father Time.
Yeah, 231 pre-All-Star break, average-wise, and 336 post-All-Star break.
Driven to left field, deep again. Young turns, looks, and it's off the wall. Young plays the carry, fires into second, and Ortiz is in there with a double. Boy, he uses that wall beautifully.
You know what, Michael, you're always taught to stay away from big guys, and especially at 3-0 count, you think he's going to try to pull the ball, but at Fenway Park, the thinking is reversed for David Ortiz. He knows he's going to get a ball out over the plate. He knows he doesn't have to hit it perfectly to get it over the wall or at least hit the wall. And you can see the approach right. It's just stay inside and fight it off. Middle away, just another double. And I found myself, David, whenever I would catch here, you start thinking differently. You know, where's he looking for it? And you're trained to pitch one way, and you have to almost think backwards.
Yeah, it's so important to pitch left-handed hitters inside here at Fenway Park to keep them honest on the inside corner.
Here's Travis Shaw. And a strike on the outside corner.
Another hitter to change his whole style right to the Hall of Fame. Wade Boggs played here for years and played pepper with that green monster.
This kid Travis Shaw kind of flying under the radar, has about 100 at bats now, batting average just below 300. A little bit of power with 7 home runs. A younger player getting an opportunity to play down the stretch and opening some eyes. See if he plays situational hitting here and tries to move David Ortiz over with a ground ball to the right side.
Yeah, the Red Sox have announced, as you see Adam Warren now getting hot, that their plan for next year, the Red Sox that is to move Hanley Ramirez to first base. And Travis Shaw has got other ideas, and he's trying to become an asset himself. No longer going to play left field next year, Hanley Ramirez.
Well, when Ben Cherington, the GM, got fired, he actually fulfilled a speaking engagement that he had a couple of days later and said that that was one of his mistakes for signing Hanley Ramirez, thinking he could make the transition to left field. He said he did not become a good left fielder. It was below average. He said that was a bad move by us. So now they're going to try to force feed him at first, where really he's better suited as a DH. But Ortiz doesn't seem like he has any plans to leave.
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, the transition to first base, not the easiest one in the world. We've seen that before. Mike Piazza, yeah, he's just going to go play first base, and the rest is history. Doesn't quite work out that way.
You would think, you know, Ramirez, the former shortstop, would have the best opportunity, at least, to move over there and be able to field the position. But a lot different responsibilities, a lot of concentration at first base. Getting over to cover the bag, you're involved in so many more plays.
2-2. Just missed inside. 3-2.
The one he's been looking for all day right here. This is such a key pitch. You can see he just misses with it. I'd like to see him double up and come back in there again. It's not just taking one shot here and there, but if you can make that pitch and thread the needle, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts. Looking.
And he walks Travis Shaw.
David, you talk about the eye test, and when Joe Girardi just looked out at Nova, you could see he was dejected after that walk. I wonder maybe if he's getting to the end of his night with the 84 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Adam Warren ready to go, and you've got first and second, nobody out. And Nova clearly has kind of struggled the last couple of innings, so I'm a little surprised here that that man right there is not in this game right now in a one-run game.
Castillo fouls it back. Five in his last 6 at bats with runners in scoring position. 400 overall. Swing and a miss.
Well, pitchers and catchers will tell you right away how they feel about a hitter when runners are in scoring position, and a big part in the ball game. Back-to-back fastballs in on Castillo. Brian McCann the first one, and then he really emphasized getting it back in there off the plate 2 in a row.
Yeah, neither one strikes, so that's the key with Castillo. You don't have to throw it over the plate.
Nice block by McCann.
The Red Sox are still learning about Rusney Castillo, what type of hitter he is, and he's not up there to walk. He's not a high on base percentage type of hitter, but he will chase out of the zone. And to me, Flash, that was one of the key things for a pitcher and a catcher, to know who you could throw, who you had to throw strikes to, and who you didn't have to. And I get the sense with Castillo that you don't have to, especially when you're ahead right now.
This is what you don't like, when there's maybe a little confusion with a pitcher and catcher on a huge pitch in this ball game. You're ahead in the count 1-2 right here. You got to take advantage. Not only pick the right pitch, but execute.
Strike 3. Got him on a breaking ball. Castillo down looking. Big strikeout for Nova.
He got a big strikeout, but he didn't execute his pitch. I mean, this is a hanging, rolling breaking ball right down the middle. Castillo just gets caught looking, and Nova gets away with not a perfect pitch.
Yeah, Castillo gave up on it. Didn't think there's any way that was going to be a strike.
Here's Brock Holt. He's grounded out twice. There's a breaking ball strike. The count 0-1 on Holt.
This is sort of the part where the catcher relationship with the bench is so important, because you can't really see where the pitches are location wise. You can tell up and down. So as Joe Girardi's trying to evaluate, catcher's got to give him feedback. You know, how's his stuff? Do you ever have a sign with a manager, Flash, where it's, you give him a sign and say, hey, this guy's losing it out here?
I'll tell you what, it's a little bit of a look into the dugout and maybe a nod, like, you know what, you might want to think about things a little bit here. To Nova's credit, he threw a couple of bad breaking balls and came back with a good one right there to Brock Holt and bounced it. It's just tough when you're a catcher and you put down a sign and you're hoping for a good pitch instead of expecting it.
Fly ball shallow left. And Young makes the play for the second out. Runners hold.
Nova getting it done, and he's getting it done with the curveball. Hanger that he got to call strike 3, and now a better one there where he gets an easy fly ball to left. So Joe Girardi obviously likes what he is seeing.
Adam Warren's ready. He's just waiting to be called in.
Well, that's one of the underrated facets of being a reliever for Adam Warren, because he's fully hot. He was almost in this game. Yep. So the times you have to get up and warm up are very taxing too, and underrated in managing a bullpen.
That one gets away from McCann. He's going to fire to third, and they get Ortiz. Or did they? Ortiz is saying, I'm safe. So we'll see if Torey Lovullo will challenge this.
Been one of the interesting things about instant replays. We get another look here. Is every runner always thinks he's safe.
He's out.
He's out.
It is funny to see the reactions. Everybody as if the bench isn't already going to look at this on replay. Ortiz gets tagged right on the leg right there before the foot hits the bag, and he clearly thinks he's safe.
He is out on the 2-5, trying to advance on the ball in the dirt. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the 7th. It's 3-2 Red Sox. take on the Red Sox in the second of 3 here at Fenway. Our coverage begins at 6 with Ali batting practice today in the Tri-State 4-3 game. It's right here on Yes. So David Ortiz thrown out trying to move ahead on the ball in the dirt. That ends the inning. The Yankees still trail 3-2 as we go to the 7th inning, and Carlos Beltran will lead off. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox is Alexi Ogando. So Beltran spins around to the left side. Pitches inside. Hey, David, we talked about it on the open, so let's get your overview on what Nova did over 6 innings.
You know, I think that's progress. He certainly got his breaking ball over for strikes more consistently than the last time. I still think the formula can be better. Seemed like he threw his good curveballs early in the count and then hung a couple that he got away with 0-2. But all in all, pretty good job from Nova. He managed his pitch count, a couple of home runs, and that's Fenway Park has a little bit to do with that. David Ortiz has hit a lot of home runs, 495, so you're in his book. Mookie Betts didn't quite get it in on him, so 2 pitches, 2 home runs.
You mentioned in the scouting report, though, how important it is for left-handed hitters to get the fastball in. Should he start thinking maybe about a cutter or maybe a 4-seamer instead of that 2-seamer inside?
Absolutely. You've got to get a pitch that buries lefties, that you can trust, that's going to stay in there, stay true. And he's got such natural movement on all of his pitches. You remember when Nova first came up, he held the ball cross seam, and it still sunk and sank on him. He's always had natural left to right movement as you're facing home plate, sinking, running action. So the difficult part is to get him to stay true on the inside corner. So yes, I would definitely tinker with a little cut grip or an off-center 4-seamer to make sure it stays in there. Yeah,
for somebody who's never pitched, you'd think it would be easy. It probably sounds a lot easier than it is, right, to get something to cut in there?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very difficult. You also pick up the hitter in your peripheral vision. A lot of times pitchers are distracted by coming inside. They don't want to hit the hitter. And when you end up going through your delivery, you end up picking up the hitter instead of the target a lot of times when you're trying to throw inside. Especially a righty to a left-handed batter. You've got to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Your mechanics have to be perfect in order to get the pitch to stay inside.
And there's ball 4 as Beltran will take first. Ogando with a leadoff walk. Now the Yankees could choose the pinch run for Beltran right here. It's a tough call because you're still trailing 3-2. You take his bat out of the lineup, but you could put Gardner there and maybe steal a base. So let's see if that's in play. At this point, it's not. Don't see any movement in the dugout. You've got Gardner, Drew, and Murphy on the bench. And tomorrow there's so many more options with the call-ups. Here's Brian McCann. Time called.
And every team is currently trying to cultivate just a guy that can steal a base or base run for you. A specific target. I know the Yankees have a couple of guys in mind. One that we know won't be is the 19-year-old prospect, Jorge Mateo's had a fantastic year in low A ball, but it's too soon for him. Over 80 stolen bases.
Strike on the inside corner.
Some scouts believe he might be the best overall prospect with the highest upside in the Yankee system.
It's got to be such a tough call because that is a huge weapon late in games. And if that's the only thing you're asking a young player to do, right? Steal a bag.
The bat goes flying, and McCann doesn't even want to look. He's walking away from the plate. See if everybody's okay.
Players feel terrible when they foul balls into the seats, and then when you lose a bat, it's even worse. completely loses the grip and it goes flying, and hopefully everybody's all right.
Brian did not want to look. It looks like it might have gotten somebody on the elbow. A young lady in a pink baseball cap. And the Red Sox have some medical personnel there, but she's grabbing her elbow. Let's hope she's okay.
Fenway Park, those seats are right on top of the field.
The 0-2. 1-2. So Travis Shaw holds on Beltran at first. Yankees trail 3-2, top of the 7th. And the 1-2. Up the middle. Bogart steps on the bag, fires to first. It's a double play. 6-6-3 double play. Now we check in with Bob Lorenz back in the studio. Bob. Indians playing better baseball, so they lead Toronto 3-2. Indians at 63 and 66 on the season, and they're 5 games out of a wild card spot.
Yes, you know, Flash, we were talking about it before. There are no patsies in the American League right now.
Indians came into the stadium, took 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees got their fill of Cleveland and that great pitching staff they have. Of course, Lindor, the young shortstop, is really coming to his own, so they are no easy chance nowadays. But National League, there's some feasting going on the bottom end over there. Some teams really struggling on the lower end.
And it's a strange matchup, Indians against the Blue Jays, because today was announced that the Indians' longtime president, Mark Shapiro, took the same job with the Blue Jays. And you know, he's got his team playing his future team today. There was some thought that because he has an opt-out in his contract, that Terry Francona could leave if Shapiro leaves, and Shapiro said Francona intends on staying.
The Indians also have at least a majority position has been offered for sale. There's at least a 30% stake that's been on the market for a year, so that might have factored into Shapiro's thinking as well. As Dolan there, the owner, is trying to take on another partner to help increase payroll.
And Dolan would keep the decision making, as he'd own 70%. Ground ball, right side, and that'll do it. Here in the 7th, after 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. 3-2 Red Sox. The Yankees, time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Each team with 7 hits. The Red Sox 2 errors, both of them in the first inning. Beltran and Gregorius each with an RBI. Betts a 2-run home run and Ortiz home run in the 4th inning. Just in the first row, not even the first row, just over the line on the monster. That's the difference in this game. That's how close this game has been. Yankees have a new pitcher. That's going to be Adam Warren taking over for Ivan Nova, who gave the Yankees 6 innings. So this will be his 36th game, and you see his numbers. Ryan Hannigan was at the plate when David Ortiz tried to advance to third, ending the 6th, so he gets a fresh count. And leads off the 7th and takes a fastball strike.
So we heard Ken Singleton up in the studio in Stanford today with Bob Lorenz, and brought up the point about the Yankees leaving the bases loaded 3 times. Really a lot of base runners, if you think about it, for 2 runs scored.
Junichi Tozawa getting ready for the Red Sox.
12 base runners the Yankees have had, on top of those three times with the bases loaded. A lot of opportunities to score runs. Only 2 on the board so far.
You know, David, every time you step into Fenway Park, you think it's going to be a slugfest. I mean, it's just the way this place plays. It hasn't happened yet for the Yankees.
Jason Shreve up for the Yanks.
My rookie year playing for the Boston Red Sox, Don Zimmer, my 3rd base coach.
Swing and a miss. Hannigan down on strikes.
Good pitch right there by Adam Warren, and we were down by 10 against Jack McDowell in his Cy Young heyday, and Don Zimmer still talks about how we're not out of this game. In this park, you've seen so many crazy things happen. It's a little unusual to see a 3-2 pitcher's duel here tonight.
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr., who's 2 for 2. Both of those against Nova. Warren deals. Breaking ball inside. Missed outside. 2-0.
Heard Jackie Bradley Jr.'s name around the trade deadline quite often. Looked like the Red Sox had him out there, and there were no takers. There might be a few regrets now. Something could still happen in the offseason. The Red Sox still trying to figure out, you know, who Hanley Ramirez is going to play first. What are we going to do with Pablo at 3rd? David Ortiz coming back. Bradley Jr. a real asset right now, either playing here or as a trade chip.
You know what's going to be really interesting is that with Dave Dombrowski taking over as the president of baseball operations, since Theo Epstein became the GM here and then passing through to Ben Cherington, this has been a heavily influenced analytics team. Right from the very top, the owner made his fortune with analytics in the stock market. So they play that very, very well. And Dave Dombrowski is a scout. So he sprinkled in some analytics toward the end in Detroit, but he is not an analytics-driven GM. Do they change their whole way of thinking?
I tell you what, and the only reason I bring this up, I know Brad Osmus, the manager at Detroit, and I had this conversation with him.
Right.
And he said, Dave Dombrowski gives me everything that I want. All the analytics that I want, he makes available, but he lets me manage my team. So I guess the answer to that question is he'll give whatever they need down there. I think he's an old school scout, but he's not afraid to think progressively.
So maybe he thinks progressively in the game, but the way he acquires players, it's more the scout's eye rather than let me look how all the numbers play out on the sheet. Will he change? Will John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, ask him to change? That's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, it's a great point, a great debate, and I think we're seeing things kind of swing back around to the other side, especially when you consider the success of the San Francisco Giants and Brian Sabian out there being more of an old school guy. You know, we get sort of caught up in this old school, new school thing. It's more of a blend.
Fly ball, deep left, turning and looking is Young. He's going to play it off the monster. Jackie Bradley Jr. is 3 for 3. All right, we have another update from Bob Lorenz in the studio. Bob. The Yankees going to see that run go up on the board and say, hey, we should win this game. We haven't been able to win a game on a day when Toronto's lost the game in a long time. Ground ball and just past the dive of Didi into left field. They're going to hold Bradley at third, so a single for Betts. First and third with one out.
Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, has coached enough games in this park. He knows it's tough to score on a base hit to left field as well as Jackie Bradley Jr. runs. Still, there's not even a thought about it.
So Joe's going to go to Chase and Shreve. Pablo Sandoval does not switch hit anymore, so it's lefty against lefty. Runners on first and third, one out, bottom of the seventh. Done. Full of action, full of possibilities, full of life. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Tri-Honda dealers, hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Another sellout crowd here at Fenway Park on a Monday evening in New England. And Jason Shreve comes on, and he's got himself a jam. First and third, one man out, bottom of the seventh. You see the numbers on Shreve. This will be his 49th game. So it'll be Shreve against Sandoval. He's looking for the double play ground ball. 0-1.
You mentioned Sandoval not switch hitting anymore, only hitting 198 against left-handed pitching.
You wonder what the Red Sox think about that. They signed a switch hitter for a 5-year, $100 million deal, and he just decided I'm not switch hitting anymore. So is he worth less to them if they knew he wasn't a switch hitter? The 0-1. 1-1.
I think we got part of the answer. I mean, the general manager was fired, or not really fired, but shown the door.
You know, Michael, I was just thinking when you brought up Dave Dombrowski coming in here, though, he doesn't have any relationships with anybody here.
Right.
So he's in a perfect position if he wants to kind of move some people and make some changes.
And there's a lot of talk here in Boston. Is he going to replace John Farrell, which would be a very harsh move when you consider the medical stuff that Farrell's going through right now, because he has no ties to Farrell either. Grounded to Bird. He bobbles and loses the double play, and a run scores. It's 4-2 Boston.
Greg Bird has done a nice job at first base. We've noticed that he usually looks nice and calm. The game doesn't speed up, but here he tries to rush it a little bit. Shreve gets the ground ball, and you can see on the transfer he loses control and has to take the out at first. So Shreve did his job getting the ground ball, possibility of a double play. Maybe rushed just a little bit, loses a transfer, and has to take the out.
So Bradley scores, Betts goes to second, and here is Bogarts. One and 0. Four-2 Red Sox, bottom of the 7th. Strike on the outside corner of the knees, 1-1.
So we've all talked about Shreve's good splitter that he throws, been very effective. Now, second time through the season, you see down and away. Hitters start to look for that pitch. The one thing, his fastball command has been a little off as of late. 10 walks in his last 13 innings. Early in the year, he would thread the needle on that particular pitch inside to righties. That was probably the most impressive part about Shreve, was his fastball command early in the year. It really shoots to the corners. Kind of a straight fastball, four-seamer, but pitches to the lanes, in and out. Inside corner, outside corner.
Two and two.
Get the feeling that Jason Shreve could wake up in the middle of the night and throw that splitter right there every time. I mean, he's got such a good feel for that pitch. Almost exclusively a secondary pitch now. He does have a slider, but he doesn't use it all that much. Occasionally to left-handed batters. His fastball split.
Two.
I think one thing we have to remind ourselves about Shreve, I mean, this is a kid going through a big league season for the first time. And it's a long year for somebody who's not used to it. And he has stayed pretty strong all the way through. See how he holds up during the month of September. You wouldn't expect anything to change, but that is a big deal for a young kid going through that first big league season and the grind of it, and he's held up his end of the bargain.
2-2. 3-2.
expect a split right here. Tried to hit that inside corner, and that's a pitch that's kind of eluded him, as I said earlier. He's doing that so well early in the season. I would say you got to go with number one right here, and his number one is the split.
Time call.
Even with Big Papi on deck.
Betts leads off second. 2 men out. 3-2 count. Pitch. Walks him. So that does bring up David Ortiz.
Just couldn't quite get it close enough to get him to offer. But you're right, Flash. It's a good point. The workload, the first thing you look at with pitchers and young pitchers is command. And that, the velocity usually is secondary. When they start losing a little bit of command is when the fatigue can set in.
So here's Ortiz, big spot in this game. Yankees already down by 2. Ortiz 2 for 3, a home run in the 4th to left field. Inside with the fastball. .29 homers, 80 runs batted in for the veteran lefty slugger. Way out in front.
Like David Ortiz was looking to pull here. All night long he's been going the other way using that green monster. I think he just guessed that maybe the Yankees were going to try to sneak one inside. He didn't get it. He swings through it. Again, that guessing game we were talking about with power hitting lefties. Are they looking for the ball out over?
That's the pitch right there. That Shreve's been a little off lately. Is when he goes to that fastball. Just hasn't been able to hit his target. He's fallen behind a lot. So overall fastball command has kind of plagued him lately.
Strike on the inside corner. Ortiz didn't like it. Count 2-2.
One of the first sliders we've seen from Shreve in a while. See a little spin on it. Almost backs up a little bit. And that's a very generous call. As David Ortiz thinks so. Can't believe it.
Ortiz drops the bat. Time call.
Sort of his way to protest. But that pitch didn't. It was hard to tell whether that was a slider or a changeup, Flash. But the last pitch to Ortiz. But
I think you called it perfectly. A little backup slider that just was supposed to run across the plate and stayed middle, up and in.
So funny, you watch baseball and you see how big leaguers influence kids. For 20 years, kids in Little League have been holding up their right hand for time like Derek Jeter. And here in New England, kids spit into their hands and clap their hands together like David Ortiz has been doing.
everybody's got their little pre-swing routine, their pre-step in the box. Professional golfers call it a pre-shot routine. Do the same thing over and over. There's a comfort level in that.
Runners will go. The 3-2. And he walks Ortiz to load the bases. And let's check in with Bob Lorenz. I think he has a final. A rare loss for the Blue Jays, and the Indians remain alive in the wild card, as Larry Rothschild will come out and talk with Jason Shreve, who will have to deal with Travis Shaw.
Shaw does not have a ton of at-bats against lefties, only 34 at-bats, but he is hitting .324.
Mookie Betts is at third. Xander Bogaerts is at second, and David Ortiz over at first. Travis Shaw is 0 for 2 with a walk. Shreve deals. And a strike. Yankees trying to hold it right here at 4-2, as they have 2 more innings to make up that deficit. Yankee bats went wild in Atlanta so far. They've left a lot of runners on base here in the first game of 3 at Fenway. Oh, 2. Boy, Brian Butterfield is really way down the line to get a good angle, and I'd say he's about 45 feet away from home plate. Now he'll back up once he says what he has to say to Mookie Betts. You really almost wonder why they have coaching boxes anymore. I mean, they just seem ornamental more than anything. They're not forcing the coaches to stay there. And not that Brian's getting a great advantage, but it is kind of dangerous to have third base coaches that close. Now there is a rule that you have to stay within the box, but it's not enforced.
It's only enforced as if the other team complains.
Because the other team wants their third base coach to do that too.
Yes.
The 0-2.
A lot of that has to do with stealing signs as well, mainly with the first base coaches. If they get in a position to see the catcher's signs. Obviously not the case here. Brian Butterfield's trying to just watch the runner at second and watch for a pickoff play.
The 1-2. Ronnie Baylor, the first base coach with the play. Bases loaded with the Red Sox. The 1-2. Still 1-2.
Well, these at bats scared me when I was behind the plate. You got a young hitter that you don't know a whole lot about. I just mentioned the numbers, hitting well over 300 against left-handed pitching.
He doesn't give an inch. That pitch almost hit him, and he fouled it over the dugout. It was a splitter, but almost at his knee, almost a foot inside. And he doesn't give an inch on inside pitches at all.
You have a situation like that. If you're McCann, you stick with Shreve's best stuff.
One of those nights. A lot of pitchers living dangerously with the bases loaded.
Nice block there by McCann, keeping it in front of him and keeping Betts at third.
And Shreve just asked McCann to come out to the mound, because I think there's a definite, not confusion's not the right word, but they're trying to figure out how to get this lefty out.
Just kind of buries a slider there, nowhere close. McCann, another good job of anticipating down and blocking.
And the 2-2. Driven to left field, Young back. He's there on the track, makes the play. And Shreve works out of further trouble. But the Red Sox get a run. They strand 3. We go to the 8th, 4-2 Boston. Red Sox lead the Yankees 4-2. And the Red Sox will go to Junichi Tazawa to pitch the 8th against the bottom third of the Yankee order. You know, for those that say there's no difference pitching the 8th or the 9th, I guess you'd have to talk to Junichi Tazawa, who was relieved of his closing duties before yesterday's game in New York against the Mets, and he was thrilled. Didn't want to close, didn't like closing, much rather pitch the 8th inning. And some guys could pitch the 9th, and some guys like to pitch the 8th, because in the 8th, if you mess up, there's a little bit of a safety net. In the 9th, if you mess up, you've usually blown the game. So Tazawa in his more comfortable 8th inning role. And he'll start with Greg Bird. There's a strike.
Well, when a pitcher, as you pointed out there, Michael, loses his command when he pitches a different inning, the 9th inning as opposed to the 8th, and he starts walking the yard, then you know it's emotional. You know, it's obviously a makeup issue. Somebody who's clearly not comfortable with pitching in the 9th inning. Self-induced.
But you wonder if there's still some of those negative thoughts. I mean, you had a shot, it didn't work out. You're more comfortable in the 8th, but you still got to be thinking, man, I'm not throwing the ball real well. See if the Yankees can get something going. We've been talking about this bullpen that has been scuffling. Holding on to this point.
Last time up, Bird, a big at bat against Eduardo Rodriguez. Yankees had the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 5th, and Bird worked the count full and then struck out on a high fastball. Bird tonight is 1 for 3. Rolls over on it and grounds it to Holt. One away. If you just joined us, Mark Teixeira was sent back to New York for further test on his right shin. Woke up today, no improvement on the deep bruise at all. And the Yankees are going to run more tests again tomorrow in New York. Another CT scan, another MRI, another X-ray, see if they see anything else. But several doctors have examined Mark, but the leg continues to bother him. And that's why Bird got the start today against the left-hander. That's how valuable Teixeira is. There's no matching up against the switch hitter who can hit home runs from either side. Here's Didi Gregorius. 3-hit night for Didi. Shows bunt, takes high. And in other injury news, CC Sabathia threw a bullpen, 30 pitches today, and will throw another one. And then he might face some live hitters. And Brian Cashman, Yankee GM, said that if he comes off the DL, if and when he comes off the DL, he will go right back into the rotation. There's a strike. Another part of the moving parts going on today is that the roster expands tomorrow, so you'll see a completely different team tomorrow in terms of depth and bullpen depth. Hit sharply and off the glove of Shaw, and it trickles into foul territory, and Gregorius is 4 for 4.
Well, the hits just keep on coming for Didi, and now you're getting to the point he's getting close to 270. That's another hot shot. Right off the glove of Travis Shaw at first base.
And that replay brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
So when you get to 250, you're having a nice year with the defense that he plays. Now when you're getting close to 270, that's legitimate big league numbers for a shortstop.
So Brett Gardner sent up the pinch hit for Brendan Ryan.
You know, Flash, you mentioned it earlier in the game. Another high hop off this infield at Fenway. Shaw was there in time, just went too low with his glove.
8th hit for the Yanks. Brendan Ryan was 0 for 3. And there's a strike. So half the Yankee hits have come from Didi Gregorius. Now yesterday's game, Gardner really struggled. He was 0 for his first 4, but then got hits his next 2 times up. He was given a rest today against the left-hander to get Chris Young's bat in the lineup, and they certainly didn't want to take Beltran out, nor Ellsbury, who were both hot. Pitch is high.
This had to be an interesting decision for Joe Girardi, though. Stephen Drew, I know he's had a bad year, but 4 hits yesterday. Could have hit for Ryan and gone right to second base as Dellin Betances is getting loose. Girardi opting for Brett Gardner, who slowed down a little bit yesterday, had a couple of hits his last couple of at-bats, but I'm sure there was a debate in the dugout on where to go.
You're using now 3 players on 1 move. Now, if the lineup goes to Young, then you could send up Drew then to pinch hit for Young, and then you just flip-flop left field and second base, but there's no guarantee it goes to Young. You could still do the same thing. Gardner would stay in as the left fielder, and then Drew would slide into the number 2 spot.
I guess my point for a manager, it might not be who's hot lately. It's just the body of work that you're going to go to earlier.
So the count 1-2 on Gardner. Deep in the box, close to the plate. Gregorius leads off first, and the pitch. That one gets away from Hannigan, and Gregorius will go to second on the wild pitch, and that removes the double play.
The double play might not have been much of an option with Brett Gardner and the way he runs. Now Gregorius in scoring position.
That's over in Baltimore as Tampa Bay has beaten the Orioles 6-3. Chris Archer the win. And the Orioles now have lost 11 of their last 12 games, falling off the face of the earth. Gregorius leads off second. 1 man out. 2-2 on Gardner. Tazawa deals. Lined into right center field. It is a base hit. Castillo comes up, and they're going to hold Gregorius at third as Castillo fired it quickly. So a pinch hit single for Gardner, and it's first and third with 1 man out.
Good job by Gardner. He got a hanging breaking ball from Tazawa and just jumps on it. And Gregorius wasn't sure how far that pitch was going, or how far that hit was going to carry. So certainly 2 runs down, the right call, holding up at third. As you see here, a little hesitation just to make sure. And a look back as well.
I'll tell you what, Castillo has a right fielder's arm. I mean, you don't see good throwing arms much anymore. It's a big league arm in right field.
So here's Ellsbury. And he is 0 for 3. Reached on a catcher's interference in the first and came around to score the Yankees' first run. Big spot. Gardner leads off first. Gregorius off third. And Tazawa deals. Ground it right back to Tazawa. He throws the second one on to first. It's a double play. He doubled up 2 of the fastest Yankees as Ellsbury hit one hot up the middle, stabbed by Tazawa, and he turned it into a 1-6-3 inning-ending double play.
Look what I found.
Found an inning-ending double play. Ken Singleton joins Bob Lorenz back in our studio for all the highlights and analysis. Plus, you'll get the clubhouse reaction and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame, only on Yes. So Tazawa fielding his position well, starts a double play to end the inning.
I'll tell you what, fielding the ball was one thing, but the awkward throw to second base and dropping it right on the money. How many times you see pitchers turn around and quickly rush a throw to second and ends up in center field?
Monday scoreboard. 4-2 Red Sox lead.
Well, yeah, it really is the double whammy there. Ellsbury with a smash up the middle, and Tazawa, come on, you don't practice this play. It's like, whoa, he just stabbed it. And as Flash said, the little snap throw from the side. How does he make that play? That's a fantastic play. You just react like a hockey goalie. A little bit of luck involved, too.
Just misses inside, does Shreve, in the count 1-2 on Castillo. Castillo, Holt, and Hannigan. Stephen Drew takes over at second. Brett Gardner is in left.
That ball's in center field, and it's a one-run game, first and third again.
Strike three. Castillo down looking. Well, the Yankees have 2, 3, and 4 to come up in the ninth inning. And it'll be against Gene Machi.
Wow, he kind of looks like El Guapo back in the day, doesn't he? Same thing.
Big man.
Remember El Guapo?
Sure. So you're going strictly on body type, right?
Just look alike.
And a strike to Brock Holt. Crowd of 36,148 here at Fenway. Another sellout at the old ballpark. Grounded softly to Drew. And he gets Holt for the second out. El Guapo, Rich Garces, that David's talking about.
Rich Garces, yeah, he had T-shirts out. They were really hot seller back in the day. El Guapo. Had a nice run for the Red Sox. Kind of a setup guy.
From 96 to 02. And El Guapo means the handsome one.
Yes, it does. And he played it up. Well, he was funny in the clubhouse, Flash. He played it up.
The 0-1. Did he go? No, said Ron Culpa. Two and one. Well, the Blue Jays have already lost. Indians beat them 4-2. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 6-3. Right here, Boston 4, Yankees 2, bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, nobody on. .35 pitches for Shreve, so he's not a pitcher in all likelihood tomorrow, but again, there'll be more players in the bullpen with the call-ups. But he's been one of the more effective relievers, so all of a sudden you don't have him. But they will have Justin Wilson as their main lefty. Ground ball to Drew. And a 1-2-3 inning for Shreve, and that'll do it in the 8th. Stephen Drew is going to lead off in the 9th. Drew, A-Rod, and Beltran coming up. Now they start a 3-game set against the Red Sox, and they're down 4-2 as we go to the 9th inning. And Gene Machi will come in and try to close this out. He's 3 for 3 in save situations, giving up 47 hits in 46 2/3, 18 walks, and 30 strikeouts.
He's trying to figure it out as the closer, and you see the numbers right there. The Yankees have had opportunities all night long. They're trying to create some opportunities against a new closer for the Boston Red Sox.
So Stephen Drew will lead off. Pitch inside from the big right-hander. It's 1-0. Line drive, base hit for Drew. He's locked in. 4 for 4 yesterday in Atlanta, and he leads off the 9th with a single.
Anytime you have a pitcher who's not used to being a closer, he doesn't have that history to draw on, you want to make him start thinking about a few things, and Stephen Drew does just that. With this hard line drive into right field, you have Alex Rodriguez up, and a pitcher who doesn't have the history of being a closer, maybe thinking some bad thoughts.
Exactly. You know, those kind of things on a young pitcher, you can chase him out of the strike zone. Good hard hit line drive on a fastball right there. Drew set the tone here in the 9th and gives the Yankees a chance.
A-Rod's 1 for 4 tonight. Pitch outside, 1-0.
Obviously, Machi thinking if he can keep the ball on the ground at Fenway Park in that green monster, looking for a little movement with the fastball down.
1-1. With that base hit, Drew's average up to 203. Craig Breslow gets up for the Red Sox.
Kind of shows you the confidence of the bench.
Staying away from A-Rod, the count 2-1.
Not a good sight when you're out there trying to close out a game and somebody's backing you up.
On Alex.
That's the feeling you get on the mound, Flash. And you made a great point. You see Beltran on deck. It just kind of scares you out of the strike zone a little bit. You think you have to be too fine now after giving up the line drive to Drew, and obviously Alex with his power. Don't want to make a mistake, and you end up yanking the ball 2 feet off the plate. Alex has got a keyhole right here. Anything middle in, middle out, he's got to put a good swing.
3-1. He walked him. So the Yankees have the tying runs on base. And that's going to bring up Carlos Beltran.
He just was nowhere near the strike zone there. Didn't want any part of throwing a strike.
Listen, there are closers who have the history when they don't even have good stuff. They believe they're going to get 3 outs. He doesn't have that yet. And on the flip side, when you're the Yankees and you see him trotting out of that Red Sox bullpen, there's a belief, all right, boys, let's go to work. We're going to get it done against this guy. Might not happen, but obviously you have good thoughts when you walk up to the plate.
Koji Uehara has a right wrist non-displaced distal radius fracture. And he went on the DL on August 11th. Retroactive to August 8th. He's out for the rest of the year. And here's one of the Yankees' hottest hitters, the veteran, Carlos Beltran. Grounds one foul. Look how well he's hit in August. 354, 5 homers, and 15 runs batted in.
And a knack for big late inning home runs, too, in that month. None bigger than the one he hit in Toronto.
1 for 2 tonight, sac fly and a walk. Drew at second, A-Rod's at first. You might ask, well, why not pinch run for A-Rod? Well, you really don't have anybody to pinch run, except for John Ryan Murphy, and he's your last catcher. Mark Teixeira still on the 25-man roster. He's not here, so the tying run has to be A-Rod. 1-1. 2-1. Now you can always go with a pitcher if you'd like, but maybe if he gets the second, they might think that.
It's one of those pitches that can make or break the at-bat. It's just off. Good job by Beltran. Good job by the home plate umpire, too.
Yankees trying to rally here in the ninth. They're down 4-2. First and second, nobody out. And the pitch. Missed outside, 3-1. On deck, Brian McCann.
It has been the story of the ballgame for the New York Yankees. Plenty of opportunities all throughout the game. You're looking for that one big hit. Carlos Beltran is in the driver's seat right now. 3-1, first and second, nobody out.
Breslow has taken a seat. Strike on the outside corner as Beltran was ready to toss the bat away and load the bases. So 3-2.
Well, another splitter that Beltran sees is high. Even Hannigan's moving his glove a bit.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Beltran. Drew at second, A-Rod at first. Ninth inning, nobody out. And the pitch. Fouled off the foot of Beltran. And they'll do it again.
Give Machi a little bit of credit. That 3-1 pitch was borderline. Could have went either way. He got the call and he came back with another one. Threw it for a strike.
Really 6 straight changeups in this at bat to Beltran.
Strike 3, Beltran down looking. A big out for the Red Sox.
Well, you can almost tell catcher Ryan Hannigan imploring this fastball in. It's got a little run.
Wow. That looks inside.
Very borderline at best. Hannigan does a good job of kind of giving the illusion of the movement, bringing the glove back in. But tough pitch to get rung up on there. 2 questionable pitches, really.
Yeah, the 3-1 pitch definitely could have went Beltran's way, and it didn't.
Here's Brian McCann. McCann's 0 for 2 with 2 walks last time up, wrapped into a double play. So big strikeout of Beltran to stem the tide for a moment. Machi deals. There's a strike.
You can see everything has movement away from Brian McCann. Left-handed hitter, whether it's that split or the changeup we saw before, the fastball is going to move away. I guess I'm bringing that up because if you're Brian McCann, the last thing you want to do is roll one over to second base. Use that green monster to your advantage. Think middle of the field the other way.
15 pitches for Machi, 7 strikes. Foul back here. 0-2. Yankees 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Red Sox haven't done well either. 1 for 8 with some timely hits, couple of home runs, and they lead by 2 in the 9th. Stephen Drew led off the 9th with a single. A-Rod followed with a walk. Beltran thought he had a walk on 3-1. Was called a strike. Thought he had a walk on 3-2, and he was struck out. So now McCann's down 0-2. That one gets away from Hannigan, and the runners will move up. So that removes the double play. And now, although there are strong arms in the outfield for the Red Sox, a single could tie the game.
That was a huge play, and you see Hannigan setting up away. Machi kind of yanks it down and in.
Now with A-Rod moving to second as the tying run, Girardi has to go to a pinch runner, and he's going to send out John Ryan Murphy. So that's his last move with position players. And we remind you, all 3 outfielders for the Red Sox have really good arms.
Not sure how much you're gaining in this move here. In terms of a step or two, I'm not sure.
One, 2. Fly ball down the right field line, but foul.
David, we've been talking all night long at Fenway Park. You have to pound left-handed hitters inside. You can see Hannigan trying to do that to Brian McCann, keeping him away from that green monster.
Yeah, I really see the veteran catcher taking charge here with a young rookie pitcher. Hannigan really, up to this point, trying to get him through it. Really working hard back there.
That swing might have scared me a little bit, though. Ball was in, and McCann got there in pretty good shape.
Missed him inside with the fastball. And the count 2-2.
Right back in there again, elevated it up above his hands. That look of determination right there from Hannigan. He's locked in here every pitch.
Yes, he's
so important. Yeah,
good catcher back there, doing a good job, almost Yogi Berra style, standing up, making sure you get that ball in.
Two. 3-2 on McCann. And Headley's on deck.
The pitcher-catcher relationship so important, but in this case, the veteran catcher clearly leading the charge. Haven't seen Machi shake off once, and nor should he. Be interesting here, first base open still, if they go back to that splitter. I called it a changeup, but I think it's more of a splitter.
And the 3-2. Foul back.
It was, and it was up a bit.
I think this is a reminder. You can throw the split, but you don't have to throw it over the plate. To your point, first base open. I know that's the winning run or the go-ahead run. This is where a veteran pitcher would realize maybe McCann will get himself out if he wants to expand.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the 9th. Yankees down 4-2. Runners on second and third. And the pitch to McCann. He walked him. The bases are loaded. So this is not your typical shutdown closer. He's going to make you sweat. He's going to make you bite your nails. He's going to make the pitching coach come out and talk. That's what Carl Willis is doing. And Yankee fans all around right now inching forward on their couch. Big game. They know that the Blue Jays have already lost. And if the Yankees could pull this one out, they'd essentially be in a tie for the American League East. They'd be tied in the loss column. Just a half game behind. And the Yankees seem like they've had the bases loaded almost every inning, and they haven't been able to cash in.
It's been all game long, and they haven't gotten that one big swing of the bat. kind of blow it open early, or in this point try to tie it up or take the lead.
So the conference is over, and here's Headley. Since coming over from the Padres last year, he's had a little bit of a flair for the dramatic. Last year, in half the season, 3 walk-off wins for the Yankees. This is obviously not a walk-off situation, top of the ninth, but a big one nonetheless for the Yanks. Bases loaded, 1 out. Yankees have 10 hits. The Red Sox have 9. Drew's at third, Murphy's at second, McCann's at first. And the pitch. Missed outside with the fastball. Three for 7 in this matchup. Lavello.
Pretty anxious look right there on that
pretty
face.
Anxious for sure. The 1-0. Missed outside, 2-0. Now Breslow was up, unless he just felt like playing catch. They have him sitting down. You have Greg Berger on deck, and there's no move for Girardi to make. And no one's warming in the Red Sox bullpen.
Yeah, the lefty sat down, and now just 10 strikes out of 24 pitches for Machi so far in this inning. And a couple of those were borderline at best.
The 2-0. 3-0 on Chase Headley. Well, that ratio's not great. Especially for the lining of the stomach of Torey Lavello.
Got to make him throw a strike, don't you?
Absolutely.
And the 3-0. He walked in. That'll force a run. And now the Yankees trail 4-3. Bases loaded, still 1 out. 3 walks by Machi. And he has really worked himself into trouble. And the Red Sox lead is hanging in the balance. So now the tying run is 90 feet away. That's John Ryan Murphy. Remember the arms in the outfield.
It's very surprising that Breslow was up before, and now you've got 2 lefties back to back, and he's not ready. You're gonna ride it out with Machi here.
Greg Bird has got to keep his calm demeanor here. Realize that you got a closer in big time trouble.
And there's a strike. Well, a rookie, a neophyte thrust into a pennant race. A big game here for the Yankees, and Greg Bird on the line at the plate, 0-1, with the bases loaded in the ninth.
Greg Bird, I'm looking for everything out over the plate, David. I mean, in this spot with a kid closer, I don't think Ryan Hannigan's going to mess inside and risk that hit by a pitch, a tie ball game. It's going to be fastballs away, splits away, and see what happens.
Hannigan's tipping it by the way he's setting up too. I mean, Bird's a rookie. I don't think he could pick it up for McCann.
Served the other way and out of play into the top deck here at Fenway. On the count 1-2.
When I say that, Flash, you know, I mean, whenever Hannigan's calling a splitter, he sets up differently, wide legs, and McCann can see that at second base. You know, Bird's a rookie. I don't know if he could relay that so much, but with a fastball, he's not. His legs are together, and he sets up or even stands up and in. If he's calling that split, he really widens out and tips it off early.
Tell you what, if he's going to call a fastball in, it's probably going to be on this pitch right here. As a catcher, you're just worried you got a young kid who might yank it a little bit too far.
A 1-2, strike 3, Bird down looking.
It's exactly that spot right there where he's going to look for that fastball in and try to dot it. And to his credit, he executed it. Ran back to the corner. And Greg Bird gets caught looking.
So Machi, a member of the Giants last year, the championship team. Been around a while, 33 years old. And thrust into the closer's role because of injuries and ineffectiveness for the Red Sox. Now has a bases loaded 2-out jam here in the top of the ninth. And facing the red-hot Didi Gregorius, who is 4 for 4.
That's a good point, Michael. Yeah, Machi not exactly a rookie, as I referred to.
And the pitch to Gregorius is outside. Now, John, if he's setting up differently on the split, can a hitter see that out of the corner of his eye?
It'd be really tough, too. I mean, there are some guys who have peaked in the past, but I don't think Didi is that accomplished. Usually you see it from veteran hitters.
There's a strike.
See, Hannigan really spread out for the split, although that time he set up a little bit later. Reason for that is to get in a position to block the ball in the dirt.
That's the biggest thing on Hannigan's mind right now. Obviously calling pitches, but making sure that he can block one of those splits if it's in the dirt.
Gregorius 4 for 4 tonight. That one is driven to right field and deep. Going back, Castillo, still back. He's on the track. He makes the play to end the game. Gregorius flirting with a grand slam. But it's too deep out there at Fenway Park, and Castillo ran it down, and the Yankees lose a tough one, 4-3.
Well, Gregorius couldn't do anything else. Hit that ball hard again. 5 great at bats.
380 feet right there where he hit it here at Fenway. The difference between left field and right field at Yankee Stadium, that is almost off the facade at the second deck. I mean, way out at Yankee Stadium. Here, plenty of room.
So the Yankees, with a spirited try in the ninth inning, could not get it done. Castillo uses up most of the ballpark. Still had a step or two after he made the catch. It's very deep out there and right, as David said. And that is the end of the ball game as the Yankees lose a tough one, 4-3.